truth begin to show. Shill it hard, let the questions fly. Truth's a shadow you pass by. The intellectual dunce, they say, but you'll keep spinning come what may. Atlantis lost, you're not too sure, but confidence will sell the cure.
Yeah, man, I'd like to drink a beer with Jimmy. I can keep a straight face. I'll pop the top, pass him one. Go ahead and pop mine. Both of us just sit there, take a good pull. I just look at him. I just keep a straight face. I don't have no problem with it. Hey, man, you know you really got down, right? I mean, you got famous off absolute bullshit. Just to see what his reaction would. It'd be pretty interesting conversation. Because, you know, face to face with nobody listening, I would just go through the facts. Here they are. I don't need any source materials. I don't need to cite anything. I'll go through the whole Plato narrative, point by point by point, and show how it was all 13th century BC. It'd be easy. I think it would be an awesome conversation. I'd even have Jimmy on my channel. So, hey, check this out, Jimmy. Why don't you come on Archaix, man, and let me run this through to you. Yeah, sound is good. Thank you, Ann. So the dark side is a show that I want to continue because I often have this inspiration after, you know, a long day. I'm working, I'm doing different stuff, but I want to go live. There's been many times where I just waited to the next day to go live, and I'm like, man, why? I can do late night. I mean, all the late night comedians and all the late night shows are just liberal puppets, talking heads. They're not funny, and there's absolutely no way that they, with their ratings, that they can stay on mainstream unless somebody's shitting out a lot of money to keep them. I mean, these guys aren't funny. They're all bleeding heart liberal, and they're just completely anti-human. You know who I'm talking about. The past 4 or 5 years, these late night show guys, they've been taking hits. Well, I mean, there's no rules against me becoming one of them. Yeah, I don't have to be a liberal because that's never going to happen. But there's no rules saying that I can't intermittently, you know, every once in a while, do a dark side chat, bring people on the screen who want to talk at night. Because I know different people, there's different time zones, and not everybody can tune in during the day because it's not during the day all around the world at the same time. We already know. So, yeah, I'm just gonna do some late shows like this. You know, I was raised on Art Bell. I spent many years in the penitentiary, and late at night, I tune into AM, my little transistor radio in prison. I have my deals on, and I would sit there and listen. And man, you guys can imagine, you know, having spent so many years reading, and I'm listening to these guests on Art Bell get these details wrong. You can imagine how many cellies that I've had that thought I was absolute nuts. Because I would be taking notes, say, man, I can't believe you said that on the air. Man, you should have known better than that, man. This author here, man, he already proved that wrong. This guy here, man, he already corrected that arithmetic. I said, man, how dare you say that when 500,000 people are listening? What is wrong with you? You guys know. Yeah, I've had guys move out of my cell. They just didn't understand. I was living in my own little world. I was in my own insulated bubble. And woe unto you for interrupting me when I'm having all my little old tantrums and I'm doing these internal rants and I'm writing notes and I'm cross-referencing, I'm looking at books and I'm on my radio listening to every detail. Oh yeah, man. Let me tell you something. I was on that Art Bell show all through the 90s. Man, I was upset something serious when George Norrie took over. Like, who's this dude? Who's this upstart? How dare he sit here and try to take over from Art Bell? And I remember all those years. Those are the years that I was reading William Cooper, Behold the Pale Horse, The Unseen Hand, The New World Order. Man, then I was introduced to Andrew Carrington Hitchcock. Oh my God, The Synagogue of Satan. When I read that book, everything made sense. I said, everything. Now I understand. One book. Every desperate piece of information that didn't fit, but it was still collated. It was still out there in the field. I wasn't dismissing it. I read Andrew Carrington Hitchcock and it was over with. Synagogue of Satan. I'll be damned. There is one people who are responsible for all of this. I'll be damned. It's crazy. Hell yeah. Yeah, if I had Mr. Hitchcock on my show, my channel would be deleted instantly. That's how much they hate that man. It's crazy. Yeah, my only issue with George Norrie and Art Bell was these guys commercialized ancient mysteries, and in commercializing them, there's nothing adversarial about them. And to me, I believe that if you're going to put yourself in a position of educating the public, then you better be willing to defend yourself when you're attacked. Because I'm on the attack. I attack concepts and theories. I'm not gonna lie. I've been guilty of attacking people, but that's only after they did something stupid. Like with Billy Carson, I was just attacking his theories. And you would think that from a fellow ex-con such as himself, who came out of the same world I did, supposedly, before he changed his name, you would think that he would respect the fact that we have basically similar histories. I mean, he is a ex-criminal. He claims not to be a criminal anymore, but hell, I mean, he was an adult when he was doing all his crimes, everything he did. So, you know what? I attacked Billy because, Billy sent out a massive media campaign, emailed everybody he knew in the field talking about me. Yeah, talking about my criminal history, bringing it all up. Yeah. He's partially responsible for why there still hasn't been a single large channel out there that's reached out to me at all. And it doesn't hurt my feelings a bit, believe me. So I'm just saying it's Jimmy Corsetti did the same thing. I mean, why? Why? What value is it to you to attack a 17-year-old kid? I'm a juvenile. Yeah, man. Why reach back 35 years to what I did as a 17-year-old kid in order to defend yourself about a bogus Reichstag structure theory? What's that got to do with Atlantis? Yeah, man, that's crazy. Yeah, I heard there were some people really mad at Billy about some other stuff, but that's not my bone to pick with him. Yeah, my bone to pick with him is the theory. It's completely wrong. So the dark side, yeah, man, this is where you air it out. I'm gonna, you can go ahead, moderators, put Archaix138 at Gmail, and if you want to come on screen, the moderator's gonna post the email. And I'll drop the invite link, and you come on screen, air it out. What do you want to talk about? This is the dark side. See, I was trying to explain yesterday where we often get things wrong. We get the details wrong because we're often painted scenarios where a protagonist is evil or has an evil history, and there's an unfolding character development in the passage from being totally evil to being something good. But in order to become something good, that individual had to go through the mire, had to go through some, some shit. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the whole concept of prodigal son. That's what the dark side's about. Admitting that we have a dark side, admitting that sometimes in order to make someone else see the light, we can't force them to walk through the darkness, so we got to do it for them. We got to do something that the Christians got it right in this. The Christians really got it right in this. It's called standing in the gap. And sometimes when you want to wake people up, you've got to lead by example, because people don't listen to what you say, but they do pay attention to what you do. And your behavior and how you act informs another soul a whole lot more about your belief systems and what you feel about yourself and the situation you find yourself in walking through this world, more so than any links you can share with them, that any dialogue that you can just discourse about. Yeah, man, I can stand before an auditorium full of people. Believe me, I have no fear in doing that. I have spoken to hundreds of people at the same time and just give an amazing discourse, flawless, all the dates, everything, totally cohesive, wrap it all up in a beautiful summary, and you're still not going to reach people the way you really need to reach them. Because in this construct, we are always watching each other. We're not paying attention to what people say. A mouth can say anything. But we're watching each other and we're observing. And when you study the rhythm of another soul's waves, that's how you get to understand what that soul's about, where they've come from, where they think they're going. You get to see the value that soul has in itself. And that's the most important aspect. The reason being is because this is a mirror-based medium. This reflective holography I call the simulacrum, it responds to us in direct proportion to the way we see ourselves. So if you see yourself as something really effed up, then you can't really blame the construct for always putting you in effed up situations. It's only responding to you. So anyway, I kind of went a little darkly philosophical there, but that's what the dark side is about. It's about getting that shit out. You want to share some of your dirt, then by all means do so. Some of the greatest burning torches that are lighting the world today came from the darkest places. So I even have an intro that says something like that. The sharpest swords are forged in the dark. But we didn't give this girl a fair chance because we had audio issues yesterday. So we're going to revisit. She got a freebie. We're going to do her errant ad right now, and we're going to do it again at the end of this video. So she got her a 3-piece. Errol G, how you doing, man? I sure need to come back out there to San Diego. I got so much to do, Errol. I just got too much to do. Until Archaic Underground is launched, I'm just not doing anything but YouTube, Archaic Underground, and some other little details on the side. Let's go ahead and launch that errant ad before we start this party. Yes, Lacey, it's just the email, archaix138@gmail.com if you want to come on screen. Share some wild theory. Introduce me to another YouTuber that you think that we're going to vibe with, and you want to see them on Archaix. Whatever. Yeah, man, we're community building here. It's late night with Jason Letterman.
To be creators, and many of us have important messages for the world. I'm Lillian Grace, author, editor, ghostwriter, and writing coach, and these are some of my books. My personal genre is teaching through story, and my first book won an international award for youth fiction. I'm currently writing a musical about health. I'd love to help you write your book. I'm offering a 20-minute complimentary edit so that you can see if you resonate with my feedback. Links in the description box. Thank you.
Awesome. That's awesome. Long time ago, when I was in the joint, I used to send my manuscripts to a lady like her, and she used to proof them, go through them before my publisher got to see them. and edit them, and she used to give me a lot of good feedback and all that. Send them back to me while I was in the joint, and then I'd send them to San Diego. You guys know the rest of the story. You guys know the rest of the story. I'd like to have Santos on the channel. Yeah, man. It's just, I don't know much about what he's doing anymore. I know David Icke. I reposted in X for those of you guys who like to follow Iconic and all that. But David Icke has returned to YouTube, and I thought that was pretty interesting. So I reposted that in X for those of you who want the link to his YouTube channel. I saw all the little groups that he sponsors in the bottom. I saw his son had a channel, and some other people that are attached to Iconic. But yeah, I think he was booted in 2019 or 2020. I don't really know the story. With David Icke, I've never been on his material online. The internet. With David Icke, I read his books. I read his actual books, went through them, and I was, David Icke was a part of my awakening. He was a part of so he has some really profound things to say. When I was reading his books in the 90s and early thousands. So I think he wrote the last book I read of his was huge, massive book. No, I read a smaller one after that called, didn't he write Children of the Matrix? Huge book. Then he wrote another one, something about, it was really uplifting, something about, I can't remember the name, but I read it too. And it was a real spiritual book. Sean Atwood, that's the guy who was in Arizona prison. I really didn't know who he was. I had confused him with somebody else. Recently, I saw a Sean Atwood who's on YouTube that was in Arizona prison. He's done some videos about prison. Yeah, he could come on my channel. We can chop it up. I mean, Arizona and Texas prisons are fundamentally different, but yeah, we could chop. We don't have to talk about prison. We can talk about anything. I know who you're talking about. I had mistaken Sean Atwood was someone else. Yeah, David Icke could come on Archaix anytime he wants. He got to open the invitation. Yeah, only thing I don't resonate with is the whole soul trap deal. You guys know, but that's just so minor. It's so minor. Minnie Vanilli ain't gonna be on my channel. Yeah, that dude ain't coming on my channel. It's not gonna happen. Yeah, I need to do some podcast. I need to have Big John reach out to a lot of channels. But you guys know I really kind of like. I really kind of like having some of these small channels. Try to give them a shot too. Just we can do that tonight. You guys can fill up some of these. I'll have Big John go through the chat and pull these names and all that. We'll send some deals. Cliff High and I, we can get along. Cliff High and I, matter of fact, I'll give Cliff High an invitation to my cipher group. I will comp him a free invitation into my cipher group because I know he likes those algorithms. And I've got 425 people strong in my cipher group right now, and we're releasing version 8. We've already released 3 versions in the short time, just like last month. So version 7 just dropped, but man, we made some more tweaks, added 2 more algorithms. One of them is a priority algorithm. One of them is a replicated algorithm, which increases its priority. But that's neither here nor there. We have a lot of members have made suggestions to make it more user friendly. And that's what it's all about. That's why we open sourced it. So yeah, version 8 gets released this week. I'm excited about that. Doug is an amazing programmer, but yeah, Cliff High, I'd probably blow his mind if he saw what we were doing. I know his algorithm involves something about grammar, what the keywords are or the hashtags are on the internet. What we're doing is fundamentally different, but still, it'd be a very interesting conversation. You guys know I'm real critical. I'm real critical of other people. I shouldn't be, But when it comes to chronological issues, man, I get triggered. I don't care what people's philosophical, their philosophy, their religious. I don't care about people's religious beliefs, their philosophies, their their political beliefs. But man, when it comes to people, anachronisms trigger me. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm genetically predisposed to get up in my feelings when I hear you talking about stuff that never happened at the time period that you're claiming. Yeah, man. We don't have any time limits tonight. We can do whatever. Static in the Attic, he's welcome to come on the channel, but I don't know, man. I heard something, man. Either I get so confused. I don't remember if it was Crow77 or if it was Static in the Attic. One of their wives hates my guts, and they won't let him come on my channel. I don't remember the story. I don't even care. If they want to come, man, they're more than welcome. Benjamin Fulford is a name I know, but I don't know who he is. Like I said, I could have people on my channel, man, that I totally disagree with. Just like Micah Dank. I showed Micah Dank the utmost respect. Let him get his whole spiel out. Didn't even want him on my channel, but he just bothered me so much about it, and he had other people bother me about it. And then when he finally came on my channel, it was like, so anticlimactic. It's like, man, you told me you were going to prove all this stuff. And at the last 5 minutes of that video, man, I just wrapped it all up and told him all the reasons why I think he's wrong. Yeah, man. So, you know what? It ain't even about that, but it's crazy. It's just crazy. I need to see what all my old buddies are doing. I've been so busy, guys. I haven't even had a chance to even look at other channels, see what's going on. I need to see what Martin's up to. I need to see what Autodidactic's up to. I need to see what Otto and Kelly have been doing. I've been so out of the loop. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know what Mike. I don't know what Dr. Barr. I don't know. I don't know what anybody's been doing lately. I know Max Egan because I follow him on X, and I know he's been real sick. I sent him. I made a comment under his message one of these days. One of the days past, 2 or 3 days back. I need to have Michael Sari on my channel. If he's back on YouTube, then we need to get him. As a matter of fact, Michael Tsarion is Unslaved is one of the only 2 or 3 channels that under Archaix. Under Archaix, I have Martin Leakey and Michael Tsarion, 2 channels that what is it called, man? When your channel sponsors another channel, or I don't remember. You look up under the channel and you see I put my Unslaved on there a while. I did that a while back. Yeah, I don't think Max Egan's ever coming to YouTube. That's the very first video I had taken off of YouTube, is when Max Egan and I did a video called Reset Cities of the Deep. I don't know what happened, man. That YouTube algorithm did not like Max. They gave me a strike and took that video right on off. I'm gonna post that video in Archaic Underground. Let's see. I'm just looking at the chat right now. Nick is free. Said, what happened to Flat Earth Dave? I don't have a problem with Flat Earth Dave. We have a mutual friend named Ian. I met in Las Vegas. And Ian set it all up and called him and all that. And a couple weeks later, Dave got with me. So we have a real easy setup. You want to podcast with us? We're going to send you an invite. It's real simple. We'll send you an email to confirm. We're going to send you an invite link. If you confirm, then we put you on Google Schedule. It's super simple. Flat Earth Dave has an apparatus set up that was like an intelligence agency. I could not believe how complicated it was when I wanted to interview him on my channel, have a real friendly conversation. And Big John sends me an email and says, Matt, I had never seen anything like this. I thought you invited him to your channel. I said, I did. I said, well, forward me what he sent you. So he sent it to me, and I opened it up, and it's like, oh my God, we got to answer all these questions, man. We got to do all these protocols, man, just to have him come on Archaix. I said, yeah, man, my time's too valuable to even try to figure this out. I says, go to the next guest. It's just simple as that. Yeah, man, I don't even understand. It's real simple. You're going to come on the channel? Cool. Here's the invite link. We'll put you on Google Schedule. All this other stuff? Yeah, man. Flat Earth Dave had some protocols on there. Like he's in the State Department, and we have to have all these permissions to get in here. Nah, man, I ain't doing all that. Yeah, this is Jason Brashears. We keep things real simple. Everything is reduced to its lowest common denominators. Yeah, I lived my whole life that way, doing all that. All right. Let's see. Ken Wheeler, I don't know, man, but the Syncretism Society of Santos Bonacci was a real good thing because they pulled in Ken Wheeler. Ken Wheeler was participating. They pulled in Logan of Decode Your Reality. He was one of the. That's another old buddy I need to have on the show. But Ken Wheeler, Logan of Decode Your Reality, Campbell, Autodidactic, they were all, doing the Syncretism Society videos, and Santos had a real good thing starting. But when that Syncretism Society collapsed, they got attacked. I still don't know the whole story. I sure would like to know the whole story. But when they got attacked and that just got disbanded, and then Santos Bonacci, excuse me, he just kind of said, you know what? He just said F the world and went ahead and spoke his truth. And when he did, he did about 20 rant videos, and he wasn't wrong. He was telling the truth, but he pretty much knew what was going to happen. He pretty much knew what was going to happen. They took one of his channels down, then they took the other one. So I don't really know what he's doing right now, but I'm pretty sure wherever he appears, he triggers the YouTube algorithm, because he was going off. Santos was telling the truth. He was going off on everybody who had something to hide, was guilty of something. He was name dropping everyone. So since that episode, Ken Wheeler, Matt, you guys know Quantum of Conscious, he too was engaging with Syncretism Society. These guys were all doing their thing back when I had 5,000 subs and nobody even knew who I was. And I was struggling to get some traction. So these guys were already in the field. Syncretism Society was already getting popular. And then I was interviewed twice by Logan and Santos, and that's what kind of took me off. So I would like to pay that back to Santos, but man, I can't have you on my channel if you're just going to take off on folks and then turn around and I've already been red flagged 2 or 3 times now. So Otto kind of went off and did his thing. Ken Wheeler's doing his own thing. He's not doing interviews with anybody. Matt of Quantum of Conscious, he's not doing interviews with anybody. Since the Syncretism Society deal, everybody just kind of went their own way, and nobody's I'm the only one doing interviews, and so is Logan of Decode Your Reality. And Martin never really was a part of the Syncretism Society, I don't think. Not really sure. I could get some of the details wrong, but Santos is an OG. Yeah, man, and that's why I'm always saying, man, I respect like David Icke. I don't care if some of you guys, don't like David Icke. I mean, I don't know what kind of perspective you're speaking from. Are you speaking from the perspective of someone who's only seen Facebook group posts and videos? Because a man isn't even equal to his book, meaning that the true measure of a man will never be found in a book, and yet a book is the best expression that a man can make into the field. A video will never cover what a book can. Yeah, books can go deep, and they can show you basically the inner workings of a soul that put those words on the paper, just like I've showed you Awaken the Immortal Within, and now my new one, Reawaken the Immortal Within. So a book will reveal someone, because they open themselves up to it. You will see. There's many aspects of the psyche you cannot hide in your writing, but videos don't convey that. They just don't. So if you're judging someone by their videos, you may want to read one or two of their books. David Icke's books are impressive, not just because they're very researched, but sometimes he'll drop a philosophical or a spiritual bomb, just like I'm famous for my tangents. Well, I'll just go in a whole nother direction, unanticipated, and it will be educational for a lot of people or entertainment. David Icke will be talking about something, then all of a sudden you just read a statement, bam, a massive spiritual drop. So yeah, you can't. Yeah, I'm not gonna disparage that. Do we disagree on some things? Absolutely. Absolutely. Does it matter? Hell no. Doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter. I better look at this email. But before I do want to give an illustration, such as the dark side. There were people in Athens, 25 centuries ago, 24 centuries ago that were, they listened to Socrates, and he wasn't like the other Ionians. He wasn't like the Ionian sages. He wasn't like the other seven wise men of Greece. Socrates was looked at as the outsider. He was looked at as the rebel. He was very distrusted because of his method. His method was real sneaky because Socrates was a genius. We call it the Socratic method now, but he was real good at playing the slave to become master. He was real good at just listening to someone explain what they thought or what they believed, whatever their position was, what was their philosophy. And all he would do was ask them questions. And the questions were specifically designed to show the flaws in someone's logic, so that they themselves, in trying to answer the questions, would realize, damn, I only believe this because somebody told me this, or I only believe this because this is what I thought everybody believed, or I only believe this because this is my information must have been limited. And the more people tried to answer Socrates' questions, the more they realized they knew nothing at all. Socrates was genius at this. So he played the fool, and his foolishness actually revealed profound truths about human reasoning. This is what Socrates did. And it made a lot of people distrust him, not because they thought he was a liar, but because that level of intelligence is intimidating. And they didn't want to engage because they didn't want Socrates to ask them a question. So he had a way of challenging very powerful people by appearing non-threatening while totally, absolutely, and completely dismantling their arguments with just simple questions that you should be able to answer if what you believe is true. That's Socrates. So Socrates understood the dark side. He understood, just like Jesus. Jesus had every intention of making sure those that heard him then and in the future would be able to understand what he was saying, even though what he was saying wasn't true. Man, I know this triggers a bunch of Christians, but you can't say Jesus didn't lie, because he did. But was the lie bad? No. Because Jesus hid the truth in metaphor and in parables and in similitudes. The parables, like the parable of the prodigal son, the parable of the lighthouse on the hill. He spoke all these parables, and yet none of these stories are true. They never happened, and yet they contain great, deep spiritual revelations. So everything in this world is the exact opposite of what it should be. You would think that Jesus would be telling the absolute truth, and all the parables would be true, and everything, because there's no deceit or deception. But it's not true at all. Parables are very deceitful, because those who are trapped and enmeshed in surface thinking will hear the stories as they are, and they will hear about the prodigal son, and they will hear how he went out whoring and he spent his dad's money, and he came back after he was starving, and it's just a story to them. But it has deeper meanings, and the deeper meanings are only found out if you understand that the parable is actually a lie conveying truths, and not a real story conveying anything that's substantial or real inside the construct. Because the lesson to be learned from these little deceits is spiritual. Socrates, in the same fashion, did it the same way. He would act like, I know that I know nothing. This is what Socrates says. I know that I know nothing. And then he would go off and talk about different things. And then somebody would speak. He always had a victim. Somebody would speak. And he would focus on them and hear them out. And he would ask them a question. Well, if that's truly how you feel, or what you believe, how come, or why, or where do you, and that's what it started. And then everybody would listen. And just through a series of questions, not accusations, not facts, not itemizing facts and citing source materials, and none of that. Just asking questions. By the time Socrates was done, even the person who was answering the questions would already realize that what they said was not true. Yeah, so this is what he did. It's the dark side. Qantas, we're not going to be talking about all that, man. Talk about Socrates boy lovers. Get off my channel with that BS, man. Yeah, I got zero tolerance for the trolling, man. I don't find that humorous at all either. It's just stupid. Yeah, we already know about Greek culture. Right now, we're talking about the powers of the mind. So, Socrates, Jesus, these were individuals that, Christianity would really love to say that everything was holy, but it's not. It's not. There are many aspects, even the religion that Christianity was born out of, Judaism. There's nothing holy in plunging a knife through a lamb that's been hog-tied and put on an altar. That lamb didn't do anything to anybody. So why are you plunging? Why are you cutting its throat in front of a bunch of people, thinking that lamb's blood is going to be atonement for things you did bad? That's terrible, absolutely terrible. That's where Christianity came from. This is where they got the idea that Jesus was the Lamb of God. This is the old, ancient, Bronze Age institution of human sacrifice repackaged to a Roman culture. It's less brutal. Now it's just a man on a cross, dying for all the sins of the world. Before that, the Lamb of God was on an altar that a Jew stabbed, killed the lamb, and this is where we get the term scapegoat from, because before the lamb was actually sacrificed during a festival during the year, there was another tradition during the year where the people laid hands on a goat. This is where we got scapegoat from. Everybody lays hands on the goat, confess what you did wrong, your sins pass into the goat, and they let the goat go out in the wilderness. That's the scapegoat. Send your sins out there in the wilderness. They're all interconnected. They're all related. But it's all false. None of that stuff forgave anybody. Nobody's sins were forgiven because of all that. It's crazy. So appearing to agree, that's what Socrates did. And Jesus had something very similar to that too. He just wasn't combative. He wasn't adversarial. So it neutralized people and it lowered their defenses. Socrates was the same way. He would hear people out, and there was just and people's defenses were lowered to the point where they could actually say in his presence deep things they truly believed, and then he would let them have it with a bunch of questions. So that's a part of the dark side. It's a part of the dark side because it's a little deceitful, but we get to the truth by employing the deceit. Yes, not everything is as clear cut. Not everything is as black and white as we're led to believe. So there's another example of the dark side in history. I know a lot of you are familiar with, like, in the medieval times, in the early Renaissance, there was court jesters. Okay, what we find out in movies and Hollywood productions, the court jesters were the fools. And I know George R.R. Martin made the court jesters look really. Why is this thing looking like this? Hold on. There we go. I know the court jesters. He made court jester was a punishment that a knight had to endure, but it's not the truth. In the Middle Ages and early Renaissance period, the fool, the court jester, was a very respected position. This individual had license to actually speak the truth as it was, and yet do it with a sense of humor, or in a parody, or in a parable, or in a jesting way. That's why they call them jesters. Because sometimes even kings needed to be corrected. But no one in the court, the nobility, the knights, the cavaliers, visiting dignitaries, nobody was going to say what needed to be said in the court. But the court jester could play the fool because he looked like one, he dressed like one, but he could say out loud what no one else would say. And in this way, he could remind the king about something maybe the king needed to be aware about, but nobody in the court wanted to say anything for fear of gaining the king's ire. Or if you embarrass the king, he'll never forgive you. So the court jester had this specific role. But he was allowed to do that. And it was done in humor because the humor neutralized it. And these court jesters, that's very deceitful. It's very deceitful that these court jesters were allowed to do this, because many people would listen to the jokes and listen to and the weird stuff that the court jesters did, not even realizing most of the jesters were very, very intelligent. They knew exactly what their role was. And the king knew it too. King and queen knew it too. It's the courtesans. It's all the people that visited the court that didn't quite realize what was really happening. But one of the most intelligent individuals in the court was the jester. And the jester is the one everybody ignores. So while all the things are going on in the court, he's able to move around the floor, entertaining people, but he hears all conversations. People talk in front of him. He hears everything. He's one of the greatest spies of the court. And the king and the queen get to know everything that's going on in the realm. And when the king and the queen are going to make a bad decision or something, right before they do, it's the court jester that speaks up mockingly, maybe making fun of one of the lords or one of the barons, or making fun of something that's on the table, whatever. But the king and the queen get the message. It's very deceitful, but he's telling the truth. Oh, I'm out of coffee. Terrible. I got to quit drinking out of that cup. That big old thick clay cup doesn't have enough. Let me look at my email and see who wants to jump on. Let me check this email out real quick. Send these invite links out. All right. So let me find my invite link. There it is. I'm gonna drop you some of you guys an invite link. Oh, we got a few people. See here. What is this from? Did Jared do? I got your email about Matt Pressey. I'll read it later. Let's see. All right, I'm sending out these links real quick. It's take me a minute. Just dropping a bunch of links, see who shows up. Somebody wanted us to know a theory about Nemesis X. Nancy Nash asking about Dr. Ammon Hillman. I mean, I can have him on, but he and I agree. The whole story. I mean, we agree on some things. To me, Jesus was a literary masterpiece. Took 500 years for the church to turn it into history. Oh, Vince Dugar, I know that name pretty well. Comic book publisher. Let's see. Lacey's reading Worlds of Collision. I'm putting your business out there. If you put it in the chat. All right. Let's see here. I dropped about 10 links so far. See who shows up. You guys got to be patient too, because you'll be on the screen at the same time. You got to wait your turn. No, Miss Tenile, a cipher's closed. We're done with that. Let's see. Errant question. Don't be shy. Do not be shy. All right. Let's see here. Come on, Bryson. Break pattern, man. That's what you're talking about. Break pattern. Almost done. Bro Sanchez does this all the time. He likes to get on folks' ass. All right, let's see. I have no idea. Brock Gibson, I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. Didn't even know you were blocked. Brock Gibson, I have no idea. I don't even know. I don't know if you're blocked or not. You can send me your YouTube handle, because your YouTube handle's not in this email. But I can go look. I can check. You guys got it. You guys have to know. Somebody for a long period of time had a lot of control over my channel, so you can't blame me for all these blocks. I'm not the one who blocked everybody. Yes, I have blocked some people. Let's see. It's fine. I have no idea. Anyway, yeah, you got to email who you are on YouTube. All right. I done sent all these links out. Let me see who's popping in. I'm pretty sure more people will pop into the email. Let's see. Man, who we got here?
Hey, Jason. Oh, I'm muted.
Now go ahead. Go ahead, Nick. Unmute yourself.
There we go. Can you hear me?
I can hear you well. I can hear you just fine.
Fantastic. Let me know when you want to get started.
Shoot.
Shoot.
Listen, man, I'm full of coffee, and that coffee chased the Modelo, so I'm ready, man. Whatever.
All righty. I'll get started. My wife's watching TV here. She can hear me in the background. It's funny. Yeah. I want to bring up some interesting stuff for you and the group, and it's about I guess let's start with the Mandela effect. And you did interview a few people and stuff like that on that. I think who'd you have on? You had Shiva Shampoo. That's it. Yeah, he was talking about the Mandela effect, and I've seen a lot of things happen with the Mandela effect. I have firsthand experience actually with something that happened that caused the death of a whole bunch of people. Well, I didn't. I know as a fact that the one that I'm talking about, you'll see when I explain it to you. So I always fly. We fly. Me and my wife fly around. We travel a lot.
Where are you hailing from right now?
I'm from Canada. I'm from Toronto area.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. I love watching you. It's great. Sorry about that.
That's good.
So we fly all over the place. So I usually sit by the wing, and I was looking out the window, and every time I'm out there, while I'm flying, and I look down, the engines are always underneath the wing. So all of a sudden I'm watching a Mandela effect guy, and he goes, did you guys notice that the engines are no longer under the wing? They're actually protruding way in front of the wing. I'm like, damn, really? So I went looking. So now they're all protruding in front of the wing. So I'm like, holy crap, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, man.
And then, so I tried to find residual on it. So I found some hand drawings people have shown that the engines are all under the wings with a little bit protruding out the front. So then all of a sudden it clicked in me. I go, wait a minute, the Boeing Max 737 during 2019. I think that's the last time I flew before COVID. And then all of a sudden I started hearing that these planes started dropping out of the sky. They started like nose diving down. I'm like, oh my God. Basically what happened is reality didn't catch up with the changes that were done and caused these planes to go down because they were heavy in front of the wings. I was like, wow. I go, this is a major one. I just found out. So people died because of that change. I was like, wow, that's amazing. It's like, I'm lucky I wasn't on one of those planes.
Dude, I just recently saw somebody on Twitter post the original underwear tag Fruit of the Loom that shows the cornucopia.
Yeah.
They pulled them out. I'm on board with Mandela effect, and I'm equally I'm a little perplexed. You're the first person that ever produced any information to me that shows that somebody's been hurt by Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Because everything I've ever seen, it seems to be so innocuous, little bitty tiny edits. But I know that if little tiny edits like this can take place, so many different things. I mean, the most famous one is still the Berenstain Bears. You got people who will swear up and down that it's always been what it is today. When we all remember, as kids, we all thought the Berenstain Bears were Jewish. You know what I mean? It's just, we all thought that because of the way it was spelled.
Exactly. Okay, I got a new one for you.
Man. That whole jet engine, jet fuel deal, that is such a mind F, man.
It is.
When you find out how much fuel it takes to get thrust, escape, all that stuff, and then you find out the actual storage capacity for the fuel in the plane can't even hold a fraction of that. It's like, wow. Then you find out that it's long been known that those turbines basically are using air for fuel once they get cranked up. So it's just crazy. Whole thing's
I know,
crazy.
but don't try to tell anyone because that hasn't woken up, because they'll just laugh in your face. Go, you don't know what you're talking about, and that's where I think the system, it basically protects their people where they don't want them to wake up, so they stay blinded to any kind of any information that will change their look at reality on what's really happening.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
the, and the lies that are being basically spread everywhere.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I'm not excuse me. I'm not amazed by stories of edits anymore. They just happen too much. I'm not there's 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 no doubt in my mind that that we are sharing an experience in some type of very sophisticated mathematical program, and that these edits can go on, but I'm it is very interesting. I don't know if it's because of the internet, but it seems to be that the internet has something to do with the increasing frequency for these edits. Because prior to the coming of the internet, there isn't a single book about Mandela effect or even the phenomenon itself before 1990. It seems like the more information that we have access to, maybe the system that we're in is, maybe it goes through periods of overload and it has to purge. And in those purges, it makes those little tiny necessary corrections. So, I mean, you've seen my video from like 5 years ago. Well, the insect storms from a simulated sky. When
Yes.
I cited Charles Fort, and like even Charles Fort was like, it seems like reality itself overcorrects. It's aware that there's a problem only when a bunch of people are talking about it or writing about it, and then instead of correcting the problem, it literally flooded the UK with insects, rivers of insects from the skies. There was an overcorrection.
I've
So
seen
this
that
this has
video.
been going on for a long period of time. We just started noticing it.
Yeah. I've actually had experience where there were edits done to me, and I went on a car trip, so I packed my pillow in the car. When I got to the place where I was going, which was about 5 hours away, I go to unload my car, and it's like my pillow's gone. I'm like, okay, what happened to my pillow? So, and I couldn't find it anymore. I couldn't find it in my house. I couldn't find it in the car anymore. It was completely gone, disappeared. Um,
Wow.
I was like, this is really weird. It's like, and I started for gas at one point, but I don't think someone's going to steal my pillow.
Well, I've had several experiences where I thought Mandela effect was happening to me because I put my keys in the same spot religiously, and they're just not there. So so I'm searching everywhere for them, and I find them in an obvious place that I would have. It happens to me a lot. I think I'm just absent-minded because I'm always thinking about other things. But yeah, it seems like van keys and truck keys come up missing more than anything else that happens in my life. I don't come up missing anything. I don't miss anything. I don't lose books. I don't lose research. I don't lose any tools or nothing. But when it comes to keys, I lose them all the time.
No, it's giving you a glitch. There you go. That's your glitch.
It's crazy.
Keys.
Whole thing's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, bro. So
All right.
what part of Canada are you from?
From Toronto area.
Toronto area. Okay.
Ontario. It's above New York.
Ontario. This
Yeah.
man, I don't know. I've been hearing some really weird stuff out of Canada, such as the new rules. Don't go out in the woods and all this shit. I don't know if that's real or not, or if it's all psyop. It's hard
They
to
said
tell.
they come on TV and they say it's real, and they said someone actually got charged 28 grand for going out in the woods. They're watching people, and with the surveillance the way it is, they can track you through your phone. So they'll just, oh, okay, we'll see whose phones went out in the
Yeah.
forest, and oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Go get him.
It's just so weird.
It is, and the fires are. Have you seen? Okay, here's a good one. They said the fires in Canada and the U.S. are bad. If you look at Africa, basically the whole middle of Africa, if you see the picture, the map, is completely flooded. It's like the whole place is all fires right across Africa, Africa. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what? I've never heard about this. So they're high. So I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what the map shows.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't believe anything on social media anymore. I just take it all with a grain of salt. It's like, damn, man. That's why one of the things I'm going to be doing soon with Archaic Underground is we're going to have our Archaic news and reviews where you guys are all posting in the Archaic bulletin board of what's going on in your area of the world, showing all this stuff so we can get a good grasp of what's really happening as opposed to what they're telling us is happening.
That's perfect. I'll be looking forward to that. That should be awesome.
Yeah, man. That was somebody else's idea, actually. It might have been Big John's. We were all talking about it. I said, man, we got to do that.
I'll give you the credit then.
I appreciate it. All right, bro. I'll holler at you later, Nick.
All right. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Aaron, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Good audio.
Do I really?
I need to find out what mic you got.
Dude, it's just some normal Walmart earbuds. That's all I'm using. So it's just some $25 pop J-Labs or something like that.
Oh man, hold on. I done did something.
Uh-oh.
Hold on.
Not again. Not again. No, I'm playing.
Hold on. I do not know what just happened. I just punched something. StreamYard's been doing some weird stuff lately.
Seems like it.
Hold on just a second. Let me add you. Oh, I see what happened. I see what happens. There we go.
All right. Am I good? You can hear me?
Absolutely.
All right. Cool. Well, yeah. Thanks to you for what you do and letting me rant as well, because I'm known in my world as the ranter. About especially these past few years as I've been learning about all of your stuff at Phoenix and so on and so forth. But lately I've been scratching my head, about the Nemesis X, because once we live in a Dyson sphere, right? We live in a construct, and every 792 years, the Nemesis X object comes around, and as what you say and what it's been written, it's some sort of super construction that is built in the sky and then hangs in the where we can see it for 60 years. But also lately there's been a, I guess, like a theory among scientists that in the next few hundred years, we're going to have so much data saved on the quantum level that it might actually cause some sort of gravity well. Right. So with that being said, and we live in a Dyson sphere in which the whatever technology is spinning around, I was just wondering that if AIX somehow made that point where the Nemesis X object is as a server access point, and that for some reason, some way, the Dyson sphere lines up or something and it causes an alignment for I guess, like I said, a server access point in which it's easier for AIX to do what it does, and that's why there's more, like, I guess, tech and transfer of information between the Nemesis X object and Earth whenever this happens. So it's just that's just something that's been in my head these past few weeks lately. Just wondering what your thought of that sometime in the past, because we don't have space out there per se, and then there's it's I guess the shell itself, it could have like attached itself to that point and hidden itself, as you say, in the which part of the space in which there's no stars that is seen, or something like that. It's just like a big void in that area in which there's no stars or nothing that is seen behind it. You mentioned it before, and you're talking
about the Cygnus Rift.
Yes. That is just, it's just blank. It's just nothing is there. There's no light, no stars, no anything can be seen. What if that's the point at which AIX, or maybe even past humans, like attached itself to that point and somehow made this gravity well happen, and that's what kind of causes the destruction outside, in the real world, because inside here it's a mathematical construct that we are just perceiving by itself. So outside in the real world, what if that has happened, and then in here they somehow managed to attach themselves, make that point a server access point to the outside world, and then that's why there's more technology, people, and whatever transfer for those amount of time, because they have a certain amount of time in order to I guess have that rain of knowledge and energy and power, whatever.
Well,
So
well, it is my. Hold on, Brock, just a minute. Say, it is absolutely my belief that we live inside a toroidal field, and that the flat plane is the center of the toroidal field. There's going to be an experience above and experience below. I don't know what the experience below is, but it seems like we do have access to a negative arithmetic. I've given mathematical demonstrations to the fact that patterns.
2178. Yes.
There are collapse discontinuities in arithmetic where we assume that a pattern has broken when it has not. It's just that the arithmetic is on the other side. It's in the we're in the photo negative, but it's in the real reality, and the pattern continues. And when it pops back in our life, and all of a sudden these things are happening in our life again, we assume that it's a whole new pattern, and it's not. It is a continuity of a pattern that is only continued elsewhere outside of our present awareness. So the Dyson shell, I don't know if it was Richard Dyson. I can't remember his first name, but he's a scientist.
I believe so.
It comes from a physicist who actually put out a lot of good information showing that the distribution of the luminaries that we call stars seem to be more of technological provenance than an actual real universe, and that if these were holographic projectors, then they would be inside this vast piece of technology called a Dyson shell. And the Dyson shell can be made of various materials, which means we could be in a very tiny, small experience universe.
Exactly.
Well, we could be in a experiment. This is why I even did one video about 4 years ago where I theorized we could be on a capital ship in the real universe outside of it, or at least another layer of the simulation where our star Nemesis is already imploded, and we're trying to make escape velocity, meaning we're trying to get away from that event horizon because we know that there's a nearby sun called Sol, and that we know that we can tuck our world directly in between Venus and Mars. And you're familiar with the Tychus-Bode law. The mathematical distribution of the planet shows that we're out of place, that Earth is an intruder. So these are the reason I come up with these various theories, is to make up for the fact that we know that if the solar system was real, which I don't believe it is, but it could be an expression of a place that is real somewhere else. And if that is the case, then we would understand that our world doesn't belong here. There is no way that Earth could be where it is around the sun right now if the solar system model is true. The Tychus-Bode law shows us that Earth does not belong here. So Earth must be attached to something else. It wouldn't be Sol. We're only trapped here now. We would actually be another gravitational body. This is where Nemesis theory comes from. Nemesis X is still attached to the Nemesis dark star. Now, the dark star theory, I don't know if you've read these books, but you need to read the books of Andy Lloyd. He wrote the book. He wrote the book Dark Star, and then he wrote a second book called Darker Stars, and he gives the Nemesis model out perfectly. But this is, a lot of people think I made this up. I didn't. This comes from 1983 and 1984. Two different universities were given a bunch of government data, and they were told, they had think tanks, and they were told, hey man, we want you to go through all this material, and we want you to assess it and tell us what your theory is based off all this data. And both universities concluded the exact same thing. Earth is an intruder, and we have a second star that has collapsed. And in physics, it's called a frozen star. Not that it's cold, but its gravity well has become sufficient to where the escaping photons fold back in. So what you're seeing is the Nemesis. What you're seeing is this Cygnus Rift, which looks like a black tear in space. And you're seeing stars go in on one, and 80 years later, the stars come out the other side, and there's nothing in between. The reason is because there is something there, and it might be white hot light. It might be bright as hell, but you're not going to be able to see any of the light because
it's being folded in.
Yes, if that tear represents an event horizon, then that means no photons can escape it. It means it may be emitting light 10 times brighter than our sun, but if it folds right back, if it's creating a toroidal field that folds back in on itself, you're not going to see nothing but a big old black spot. That's all you're going to see. So,
right. And then when I explain something like that to everybody who comes, because sometimes I'm trying to leave work and there's a line of like people asking me like questions because everybody's they want to know, especially when now aliens are in mainstream, they want to know all of this and that. But when I explain all of this is that we most likely had a sister star, and scientists don't want to say that. And then I start to explain the evidence, with the timelines that if we live in an actual structured universe, these events wouldn't have happened exactly when they happened. They would eventually, a week later, a month later, a year later, or earlier, like in time, instead of it exactly happening like pretty much on like every day on the year that it's supposed to happen. Especially whenever the sun went back, and then we gained the five extra days. That should have messed up everything. Then when I explain some of that to everybody, they're like, yeah, you're right. So slowly but surely, it's getting out there that we most likely live in some sort of, a conceived construct, a perceived conceived construct of just electrified photons in which we can make our own. We can, like you said, imagination and intuition and empathy is what
absolutely.
makes us who we are. So once we fully understand that, we can make almost anything happen as long as we understand who we are. And a lot of people don't see that. They see that we are just victims, and we got to rely on somebody, especially with this 3-eye atlas that's coming around. People are saying,
Yeah.
oh, they're saying that there's aliens, and then everyone's gonna, that they're here to save us and this and that. And then should explain to people, if they were really wanted to save us, do you think they would have saved us by now? And also, why are you needed to be saved? You need to worry about yourself first, and rather than some alien whatever from whoever land is showing up to come and save you.
I'm still, I'm still,
Don't hop on the
hey,
ship.
I'm still holding to the Fermi paradox. So far,
Yeah,
there's still there's still no
right,
direct evidence of an alien
right.
civilization. And if
And
there
then
was, they would avoid us like the plague.
yeah, and that's what I say to them. I said, inside this construct, there's no aliens because it is a human experience. Outside, because we live in the photo negative of the real world. We live in the opposite. So if there's no humans here, there might be a bunch of aliens out there.
Man,
So
listen,
just
I'm gonna move on to Brock, but I want to make a closing statement, Aaron.
mhm.
I am not going to be surprised at all if when I exit this, I don't know if I'll be flying 90 miles an hour off my motorcycle. I don't know if I'll die in 2040. I don't know. But whenever it happens, I would not be surprised if as soon as I opened up my real eyes and I look around,
Yeah.
I know everybody around me. And they're probably laughing at me for the dumbass shit I did while I was in the construct. And that we're all probably talking about the roles we played, and we probably all know each other on the outside. And we've
Yeah,
probably
most
played
likely.
many simulations before.
Hold on, and just one more thing
no.
that everybody near me in life, their first name starts with the letter J, or
That's
that I'm
crazy.
learning, or friends. Yeah, so like Justin, Jason, or like Josh, Jesse, so on and so forth. So
Man,
it's pretty cool.
it's crazy, dude. All right, Aaron,
Hmm.
I'm going to go.
All right, all
Good
right.
talking to
Thank you,
you, man.
Jason. All
Hey,
right,
where
you
you
too.
from? You didn't tell everybody where you're
Oh, I'm
from.
sorry. I'm Aaron. I am from Richmond, Virginia. So
Okay, Virginia.
yeah,
All right.
Close
yes,
to
sir.
me.
Been here for a few years, so
All right, man. I'll holler
and
at
I,
you later,
I
bro.
thought you like the hat. So
Yeah, I did. I do like the hat. Yeah, man.
all right.
All right, man.
Well,
What's up, Brock?
how you doing? You
I'm
can
good, man. Yeah, I'll look at. Hey, you got to send me an email, man, and show me whatever your handle was, cause I can look on that list.
yeah, because I have a crazy handle. People don't like it, as I'm not gonna say it, but
All
I'll
right,
tell
well,
you
you
it
just send it
later.
to me in an email, man.
All right, but I had a question. Like I really wanted to chat with you because I watch your stuff a lot, and I've I've been to prison, did all that, 8 years, long time.
You look like many of the
not
dudes.
not not too
You look
much,
just like many of the dudes I was on the cell block with, man.
not as much time as you have,
Yeah.
but but I had a question. Like, for me, I think that Elon Musk is Oppenheimer's son, and that's the only reason he's getting his money. And I
Man.
seen your thing from earlier in the week about you didn't care about anybody that thought you was crazy about how Trump was still running, and
Yeah.
so I just wanted to hear your thought about that.
Listen, Elon Musk is a part of the control apparatus. All right.
Absolutely.
So we've got stories from the 1890s about a guy named Elon who's going to be running things in the last days. You know what I mean? We've got the same time period produced 2 books talking about the Trumps. Trump's going to be the last president.
Okay. Hold on.
So
I see where you're coming from, but did anybody ever see these books before they've come? Like, before, you know what I mean? Like, has anybody ever read these books?
Well, I do have one of them. I have the one about Baron Trump, and it's from like 1903, 1904. And somebody sent me the book. I didn't even believe it existed. But then when I went to look it up online, I said, "Oh, there's PDFs of it. You can find PDFs of it." It's an old
I know.
book.
I've seen it on there. Yeah,
but it's just a work of fiction.
I know. I just thought maybe that was like just like a Mandela effect,
Listen,
like
Elon Musk
thing.
is designed to. This is why they brought Elon Musk in initially. Since then, they've given him more roles, but initially, Elon Musk's role was to substantiate NASA. Because Elon Musk with SpaceX, he represented the corporate version, proving that we've been to space, proving that we've been to the moon. Elon Musk sending all these rockets in. Well, so all these people started really disbelieving around 2005 to 2010. They started really disbelieving NASA ever did any of these things. So they bring Elon Musk in with SpaceX, and they just reinitiate all this faith in NASA that, okay, maybe they did do all these things. And since then, Elon Musk, because he's now like, the ultimate patriot, he's the ultimate truth teller. Now they're just using him for all kinds of things, but he's just part of the control apparatus. And
I know
there may be 4 or 5 Musks, Elons running around. I just don't really pay attention a lot to it, because even with Trump, it's all just it's so comical now. It's like,
I feel
in the Biden administration, we went through 5 Bidens. Yeah, we counted 5 different Bidens during the Biden administration. It just got ridiculous. It got so good.
I understand. But where I was coming from was the Oppenheimer and the Elon.
Yeah, I mean, it could be possible. I just know the basic story that when the German scientists were brought over, they were brought to Texas. And they were debriefed in Texas, and they went through all their shit in Texas. And then from Texas, they were sent to New Mexico. And I know a bunch of the German scientists under Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer himself ended up at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Are you familiar with that place?
Yeah, I got the tattoo on my back of my arm right here.
Oh, do you? Yeah, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
No, Oppenheimer's quote.
Oh, I know.
Well, he quoted it off
it's on his tombstone. It's on his tombstone.
The book. What is it? The India. What India?
You're talking about the Mahabharata?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's talking about I am the
destroyer of worlds.
Yeah, I'm the destroyer of worlds or something.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I got it on my arm. Yeah.
So Oppenheimer and some of those Nazi scientists ended up at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, where they headed the new they were retro engineering a bunch of materials that they had found in an assist. We were told we were given the bullshit version, which is a UFO landed. What really happened was an assist from the underworld. a breakaway civilization in the underworld staged all these materials out there for American scientists. And this is how Wright-Patterson Air Force Base got started, because none of that shit ended up at Area 51. Area 51 was the PSYOP. Everybody believed all these materials made it to Hangar 18, Area 51. They weren't. They were sent to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and retro-engineered. I've done a lot of, I should have done a video on that, but
that's why they have all these goofy dudes on TV talking about that. Yeah. What's his name? What's that scientist's name? It says he's been there. I can't remember. I used to follow that stuff, but I just fell off.
I don't know,
when I was in prison, that's all you can get is TV and then books, and you know that you follow and you can only follow what you can see.
You can't do what I did in Texas prison no more. Now they have taken the books and they have given inmates tablets. And they only have approved PDF, books you can read on the tablets.
All you can get is music.
Yeah.
I'm in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, man.
So we can get.
I actually got to go through the old library that existed in the days of Bonnie and Clyde. I was on the East Ham unit where all that shit happened, man. I got to go through all the sub-basement and go through all those wooden crates full of books.
Hey, I'm grateful to find you and to know that you're a true, soldier of.
I try to be, man. I try to be.
These corrupt, these corrupt, people around here. But yeah.
Yeah. I get it, man. All right, Brock. Hey, send me that email so I know what your handle is.
All right. Thank you.
Later, man.
See ya.
So we don't have a name on stage. Who are you, man? V, huh?
Yes. Hello.
How you doing, man? Where you hail from?
I'm north of Eureka. I'm like 15 minutes away. So, I'm like, after that California flood video, man, I was a little bit, but I'm in California right now.
Hold on. You're in Eureka, California?
Yeah. Well, about 15 minutes north and above that in Archaix.
Okay. Because I know a place. There's a Eureka, Nevada as well.
Okay.
In 1877, the reason I was just reading about it, 1877, a gigantic piece of quartz was found, and in the center of the corpse, the quartz, it had turned to gypsum, but it was a human femur that was about 3 inches longer than a 6 foot tall man's today. Ankle bone, foot bones, all that stuff was in there. It's totally crystallized. I was reading about this not even 2 days ago.
It's wild how the field works. I think who was mentioning that. I just watched the Shiva shampoo video earlier today.
Man, love that guy.
Yeah, he's great. And then after your Cthulhu video, went out in the field and I found Quest in Search of Dragon Tooth. Have you heard of this book?
Never heard of that.
Super weird book. The premise essentially was like some publishers in the 80s got this medieval manuscript about this mage Magnellus, and the book's kind of written like a treasure hunt, kind of like a book, like trying to find this dragon tooth, but it starts off with their own last days prophecy in the book, and it's very poetic, and it kind of it just after seeing the Cthulhu video it was very weird, but it's about searching the unicorns. That new movie that just came out with Paul Rudd.
I really don't. I just don't. I don't know anything about movies. I never have time to watch them.
Right.
Every once in a while, I'll put on an '80s movie. Like I try to watch all the John Candy's and Danny DeVito movies, and Richard Pryor. I'll watch the old '80s movies, and every once in a while. I won't lie, though. I did recently indulge in watching a movie, Jason Statham kicking ass in The Beekeeper.
There you go.
Netflix favorite.
Yeah, I'll be 30 this August or whatever. So I'm kind of a youngin'. So
that's all right. We all start somewhere.
Yeah, right. Exactly. The physical part is 30, right? So we're the product of put on something in the background while you're eating or whatever. So.
Yeah.
But some of these movies kind of been speaking to me. The Search of the Unicorn or whatever, the elites go to an island, they kill a unicorn on the way over, and it has regenerative powers, and they talk about some medieval unicorn tapestry in that.
Right.
The Opus movie that just came out, another really interesting one. That one's it's kind of the whole concept of the movie with John Malkovich essentially is he's a cult leader who it's this concept of like you don't have any free will, and the person who's coming sees all these crazy things happen on the island. She escapes. She writes a book, and in writing this book, she basically spreads the cult's message or whatever. And she sees John Malkovich in the end of the movie, and he's in jail, and she's like realizes, oh, I was playing into your plan this whole time. Sorry, a lot of movies.
Movies are badass. I mean, I've told my community to watch Night of the Comet from the 80s to get an idea of the Phoenix phenomenon. It's all about Phoenix phenomenon. It's got the underground bases, government doing stuff. It's got how human populations vanish. It's got the red dust. It nailed everything. Celestial object in the sky. So it's called Night of the Comet. Another one I tell people to watch is Dark City, 1998.
Okay.
The Adjustment Bureau. Also, way back in the 80s, Don Johnson, maybe 1978 or 79, but Don Johnson's one of his very first movies before he was on Miami Vice. It's another movie. It's a dystopian reality after World War III, but it's just like the time period that Mad Max is giving us between 2040 and 2046. It's this time period. It's called A Boy and His Dog. You need to watch that movie too, man.
Yes.
Listen, A Boy and His Dog at the very end, there it is. The elite are underground. They're having a party while everybody is fighting for resources on the surface. The world's been destroyed. The elite are just having a blast. They're in the underworld. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Movies tell you the truth all the time. Tell you the truth.
And even then, they're kind of second level derivatives. Harlan Ellison, who wrote that, which then got turned into a screenplay. I have his comics. He also wrote I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, the famous AI kind of story of, AI sentience going crazy. And Harlan Ellison is one of those kind of H.G. Wells kind of figures where they've seemed to have gone insane because of what they know.
Wow, you pulled that straight out of the field. So you already knew who wrote A Boy and His Dog.
Yes, yeah. Exactly. I haven't seen the movie, but I have.
No, I didn't know it. I'm reading. I know who Vince Dugar is. I see his quote right here. He's talking about Harlan Ellison.
You're right. It's really interesting, how we're seeing the same thing at different perspectives or different from other things, and I guess that's kind of what where some of my questions were. I had a couple here written down. So
okay, shoot.
So when you're going through and reading everything, do you have like a methodology for how you're doing data collections?
I do.
Okay.
And my library is in the other building, so I don't have access to it right now. But I do. I do the exact same thing Pliny the Elder did. Pliny's method was to go from front to back in whatever he was researching, and it doesn't matter if any of the notes are relative to each other. It doesn't even matter. But when you find anything interesting in a book, I sit there and I'll take it out. I'll write it down, and then I'll cite the title of the book, the author, the page number, the date of publication, and the publisher, and I'll put it to the side. And then if I'm going through an entire book, I'll just write all that data on the top. And then throughout the page, whatever I find in the book, I write it down, shelve it, put it away. I'm done. I go to my next book. I do some videos. I continue reading. And I'm going to tell you now, Franz Boas said it right in 1888. He specifically said that if you record enough facts, the answers will always fall like ripe fruit. And this is what I do. All I do is just collate data. I write so many facts that I have hundreds of pages, and Jamie Robbins has been to my property. He has held them in his hands, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages, all handwritten. And this is my method. And when I get a big stack going, I'll just spend 3 or 4 days and not do anything but open up a Microsoft Word document, a blank one, and I'll go through there and I will start reading everything and I'll put them on Microsoft Word documents. And then once everything is on a single Microsoft Word document, it might be 70,000 words. It's just a bunch of random notes that don't mean anything apart from just singular notes. However, as I'm doing that, I'm already seeing the patterns. I'm already seeing what can be built here. I'm already seeing all the information that can be collated and put into their appropriate files because my filing system is massive. But when I'm going through this, I'll see, okay, cool. Once it's on a Microsoft Word document, that's when I'll open up four or five folders on my computer, open up a blank Word document in each one of them. Okay, well, so I found all these notes here are on relative dating systems and methods and criticisms. They go in this one. Everything here's on Nephilim and giant studies and human anatomical anomalies. I'll put them here. Everything here could be Phoenix material. I put them in here. Everything here could be Nemesis X or Dark Satellite material. I put them here. Everything here's chronological notes. Pure chronological gold goes into this file here. This file over here is really witty, witticisms, philosophical statements, spiritual statements. It'll go in this file here. So once 4 or 5 months pass, I will collate all the data and it goes in its files. Then another 4 or 5 months go by and I'm doing YouTube videos, but at nighttime, I'm an avid reader. I read almost every day. So 4 or 5 months goes, I got another large pile and it's time to put them in their appropriate files. After about a year, I have enough for 2 to 3 books and another 30, 40, 50 videos.
Sure.
That's what I do. It never ends. It's never going to end, man. I'm never going to finish Chronicon because every time I finish Chronicon, a publisher just sent me an email like 2 days ago and said that Chronicon, the first 3,000 years, which is the pre-flood world, 5239 BC to 2239 BC, he says, I'm pretty much done. If you got any final touches or if you got an intro you want to write or whatever, and you need to hurry up and send it to me. But he says, I'm pretty much done. I'm about to release this book. So, okay, cool. But it's taken him a year just to get the pre-flood world done. And by the time he finishes all of Chronicon, I will have so much more data that I'm going to have to do an updated version on the pre-flood world. It just never ends.
Yeah. It's, I struggle myself because for one, it's just in searching your videos, you tend to go on tangents, but each nugget is you can go in so many different ways. I think like you mentioned, I've created I don't know how many documents, PDF or slideshows and things where it's like this is just I have a list of all these videos and movies you've mentioned and but it kind of it feels almost like Sisyphean, I guess. It feels, especially, I try not to get, overwhelmed or have anxiety. But, the methodology helps. The other thing was, looking at all your old stuff, man, do you still practice art or drawing or anything like that?
Yeah, I still draw some of my charts. Some of the charts in the recent videos in the last 90 days, a few of them, they were still hand drawn. I don't draw a lot as an artist anymore. But for my community, if you didn't pick up on what he said Sisyphean. He's talking about Sisyphus, who was cursed to roll a boulder uphill, and as soon as he got to the top of the hill, he'd have to start all over again. It's Sisyphean is just a heroic act that just never ends. Right. Good word, man. Good word.
I could, I could thank you for spreading a lot of this information and instilling people to read again and just have nothing should limit you to all this stuff. And I say Sisyphean, but it feels like that's why we're here. I guess that's the eternal suffering is to experience life and all that.
Listen, if you want to talk about existential stuff, which would be a whole nother video. Sure. But one of the best representations for the idea of our experience is the Mandelbrot set. because the Mandelbrot set literally teaches you that once you become aware of an environment, the more you study it, the more you go into it, the more it replicates, but with slight adjustments. It's never quite the same, but it's the same geometry, just expressed in a different way. That's the human experience. No matter what you do, how much you accomplish, how many people you talk to, how many things you cross off your bucket list, it will never be enough. Never.
Yeah, and I think I don't know what it's come from in Western society, but this sense of like you need to get everything done, figure out, I'm going to retire at 60 and this, that, and the other, and then I'm finished and I don't have to live life anymore. I can just go into autopilot. And once you uncouple that, I think for some people it's really challenging to realize, hey, each day you can make it your own. You have to kind of check in, not check out, kind of thing.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm feeling your energy, and if you ever want to come on the show and just air out a whole bunch of movies that you think are all really special as far as not just Archaix related, but giving us deep drops on reality as we know it, man, you're more than welcome to send me an email, man. I've done that with people that I just met in chat, man. We just have a blast, just share movies.
Yeah, I've been kind of waiting for this contact myself. I've only discovered you in like June or something, but I've been in my own prison, so to say. Nothing like you for the past 5 years, but fortunately, I've been able to just spend all day looking at everything. So I've compiled a lot of stuff. So I'm kind of I have some stuff, I guess, waiting to show the community. So I'll cut it off here then, and I see Braden here. So much appreciated.
All right, bro.
Take care, Jason. Thank you.
Till next time. Braden B.
Hello,
man. I see you in the chat all the time, man.
Yeah, I'm in here a lot. I'm a little bit nervous to be here. It's my first time speaking to a big audience like yours, but I'm happy to meet you. I've been on the channel for about a year now. I joined 2024, and
absolutely,
I'm here in Texas. My name is Braden. You can see that on the screen. I'm 20 years old. My question was honestly, I was blanking. I couldn't think of anything to ask, and I was hoping just to get some background information on the Archaix Underground that you've been working on, because I was hoping you'd have some more information on that.
What you want to know?
Well, is it going to be more of like a networking thing? Like, are we going to be able to talk to each other as a community?
Okay, well, the whole idea came about, Braden, because the player platform has been screwing people over. Yeah. And it was also making it there's a lot of things I couldn't do in player. So Archaix TV was kind of a failure from the beginning, because all the features that I really want, it wasn't set up by me. It was set up by somebody who formerly was employed by me, and they're no longer working for Archaix. And they kind of saddled me to this platform. And I didn't like it because I couldn't do live videos. I couldn't have an interactive community. It was just chatting underneath, in the comment sections of the videos. It wasn't what I signed up for. And also, they had stopped paying me a good while back, and we kind of entered into a legal dispute. Now the entire player platform is going offline on August 31st, and they're canceling everybody's subscriptions. And I'm cool with that, because our Archaix Underground, it was $5.99. It was like $6 for the Archaix TV, but it didn't have all the features. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to charge $2.76, which some of you know exactly why I'm charging that. But $2.76, and it's going to have way more than Archaix TV. One of the things is underground chats, where it's like the old style. You remember the old style chat rooms where you selected a room and everybody's talking about a certain topic?
Like a forum, like an internet forum?
Yeah, like an internet forum where everybody can say whatever they want to say, and we all get in the chat. Well, Archaix Underground, I've already talked to the developers of this platform that I signed up for. I've already paid for it. And they're pretty excited about having the Archaix community come on board. But I'm going to be able to do live videos in there. I can do video uploads. I can put my YouTube backup videos there. We're going to have open chat rooms on a whole bunch of different topics. Anybody who wants to get involved in the chat rooms, you don't just text. You can also post your memes. You can post your videos. You can post pictures. It's going to be a lot like Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be Archaix. It's gonna be a huge errant platform. So we're going to have a video archive. So all these videos that you're missing from Archaix TV, videos that YouTube kicked off with Max Egan and other people I've done videos for, they're all going to be put on there. Also, for the first time, you're going to have access to hundreds of Archaix videos that are just audio podcasts. A bunch of the podcasts that I've done with other people that have never been on Archaix, but I did interviews with I've done over 300-400 interviews on other channels in the past 5 years. And so we've gone and we've collected all those audio files. So people, a lot of people like to listen to podcasts, but we're going to have the Underground Vault Library because I have about 1,000 different books I want the community to have access to. These are PDF downloads of old books that I've used in my sources, things that you guys can read and you can see, damn, Jason didn't make this up. It's really in this book. So we're going to have the Archaix Underground Vault Library. We're going to have Underground News. Underground News and Reviews is a special chat room where you guys can basically tell the whole community, hey man, this is what's going on in New Zealand. This is what's going on right here. They're not reporting this on the news. This is what's happening. And everywhere around the world, we can basically see what's going on. We don't need mainstream media. We don't need them to lie to us. We can keep up with ourselves. So I'm also going to have errants personals. So I kind of have a disclaimer with that, because a lot of people want errants dating services and all that. I'm telling you, I'm not getting involved. If you want to do that in errants personals, y'all have at it. But I'm not getting involved. I have too much trouble with that. I'm not doing it. But errants personals are where people can find out who's local to them, so y'all can go meet, have meetups, chat, go out to eat, whatever y'all want to do. I'm going to have a special section in there called Meme Warfare, where we give out prizes. We will mail prizes out weekly to those who post the most badass memes in Meme Warfare. Every week we'll pick a winner, and we'll send out Archaix merchandise prizes, stuff like that. But we're also going to have a section, come on, you might be young, Braden, but you already know. There's going to have to be a section. It's called Lifestyles of the Grifting and Infamous. And that's going to be my special section, where I'm just taking off on all these guys, man, that I can't stand. So that's going to be my rant section.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds like it's going to be a ride. You're going to include everything that wasn't.
Yeah, we're going to have everything in the group. It's I'm building it right now. Every day I'll work on a little bit.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Okay, UK Trucker listening in. I've seen you several times. All right, Braden, I'll holler at you, man.
Yes, sir. It's good meeting you. Have a good one.
You too. That's good seeing young people. It's good seeing young people in the field that are awake. It's so awesome. Well, there's my moderator right there. Lacey, you got to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Nice to meet you, finally.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
So, let's see if I can remember this. I'm a little nervous too, I'm not gonna lie. That's a lot of people. I was reading Worlds in Collision recently, and I'm only halfway through, so if the ending is like a total twist, then maybe. But
yeah.
In there it was talking about how like Venus and Mars were actually like comets, is what they believed, and then that when they came, close to Earth, there was destruction and the same kind of stuff you've talked about. So have you talked about that before, or is that?
Yes, I have. I've addressed Emmanuel Velikovsky, because when he put this research together in the 1940s and published it in the 1950s, Lacey, he was educated from a uniformitarian perspective. So we can forgive him of the belief, because he was interpreting these legends and these myths and the Assyrian eponyms, and he was seeing all these records, and he believed that what the ancients were describing was the planet Venus coming too close to Earth. And then
right.
When Venus receded, Mars came too close to Earth. And when he's describing this from a uniformitarian perspective, it's just, it defies all logic to assume, because it's offending Occam's razor. Occam's razor is the tenet that it's going to be the simplest explanation is probably going to be the correct one. So to have two gigantic planetary bodies move away from their orbital belts to come too close to Earth, that's a little hard to conceive.
Yeah.
What's easier to conceive is that Venus and Mars never moved. Earth did.
Okay.
Earth went too close to Venus, and then Earth went too close to Mars. Then it stabilized and fulfilled the Titius-Bode anomaly, because the Titius-Bode law shows that Mercury, Venus, Mars, the asteroid belt, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune are exactly mathematically where they're supposed to be. Earth does not belong here. So what Velikovsky in Worlds of Collisions and Earth in Upheaval was really describing was that Earth jumped ecliptics. Earth was on a it was still orbiting the sun, and it was a 360-degree perfect orbit because it was on the Nemesis ecliptic. But when Nemesis X came too close and pulled it, because remember, Zecharia Sitchin got something right. He said Nibiru was called the fairy by the ancients, because what does a fairy do? A fairy pulls something to another location. That's what a fairy does. So it takes a vessel and moves it somewhere else. That's what ferrying is. So Nibiru was the ferry, and it was also the planet of the crossing. I don't believe in planets and all that. I believe the sky is simulated.
That's what was throwing me off. Was reading it was throwing me off. I was like, okay, hold on. So
you have to understand, when we're reading these things, we have to read it through the lens that they understand it as. He was believing Venus and Mars are actually planets. They're just simulated luminaries in the sky, but they're still telling a story. And the story is that Earth had a different zodiac. Why? It's easy to see. Once you understand that Earth was moving at 60 degrees perpendicular to Sol's ecliptic. Here's the sun. Sol's ecliptic has Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, all moving like this. But Earth is tucked in a belt where mathematically it shouldn't belong. However, if Earth was at 60 degrees, if it was at 60 degrees perpendicular to Sol's ecliptic, it would be on the Nemesis ecliptic. And this is where the dark satellite is. This is where Phoenix is every 138 years. This is where Nemesis X is every 792 years. And formerly, Earth was on here at 360 days a year. But when Earth jumped and came down here, it added 5.25 days. And the jump happened when Immanuel Velikovsky said that Venus filled the whole sky and then moved away. And then Mars filled the whole sky and moved away. But that's not what happened. He got it wrong. He got it wrong because his educational background was uniformitarianism, and he was really thinking that these planets came too close to Earth, when the real answer is that Earth went way too close to Venus, and then slungshot back close to Mars, and then stabilized where it is now, adding 5.25 days to the calendar.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's that's where he comes from, but as you're reading it, I'm like, so does this have anything to do with, anything else that you've talked about, especially with the Nemesis X stuff? So that was just my question. So, I'm from Washington State, so it's hot as heck here right now.
In Washington?
I didn't introduce myself.
Yeah, I got an uncle that lives in Washington. My Uncle Larry lives there.
It's like 95. And we have no air conditioning. It is hot.
Yeah,
but thank you.
I can't survive without air conditioning. Not me.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jason. I appreciate it.
All right, Lacey. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
Stephen King. Come on now.
No, you got it wrong. Are you dyslexic? Hello.
I am.
It's King Stephen, not Stephen King.
All right,
King
man.
Stephen.
Where's your kingdom at? Where you hail from?
My kingdom is the Sanity Machine Empire.
No
That's
way.
My kingdom.
No way. All right.
Yeah, it's me.
I know who you are. I know exactly who you are. What's up?
Exactly. Who am I, man? Tell me who I am.
The Sanity Machine, one of my trolls.
I'm not a troll. I'm a truth speaker.
Okay. Well,
not a troll.
You got the floor right now.
Got my books. I've been watching you for a while now. I also run a channel called El Diablo Radio International, the greatest
I've
show
only
in
seen
hell.
that on X.
It's not on X. I'm not on X.
Well,
I'm
is it on YouTube?
I'm on YouTube and Odyssey.
Oh, it might have been on Odyssey. I've been on Odyssey a lot lately.
Well, I'm on here. I wonder what your thoughts are on God. What are your thoughts on God?
Yeah, that's a hard one, man, because I don't believe that anything within this experience, in this construct, could ever accurately represent the oversoul, and that's why I don't even call it God. I don't believe the oversoul has a gender. You could say God and you could say goddess, and they would both equally be true. My personal belief concerning the oversoul is that 10,000 different opinions about the oversoul, because the oversoul is so eternal and vast, could all be right. I don't believe that when we're talking about aspects of the oversoul that good and evil even obtains. I believe these are man-made constructions, and I feel that you and I and everybody listening to me right now are moored to source, and that we're not in our real avatars. This isn't our real bodies. We are borrowing pieces of the construct in order to experience the construct. But the true inner essence of us is moored to source, and that's where we're going back. Not to be absorbed in some Buddhist mantra, some Mandela philosophy, but to actually return to source as an highly individualized soul that has taken on new experiences while we flow through this experience, because this is a learning experience. I believe this is a trial and testing period. And I don't believe that the Judeo-Christian religions have a clue about what God is really like. And I think he's probably a real cool SOB, and we're going to be very, very surprised when we're no longer adorned in this medium of deception we're in right now. Once we're outside of this holography, we're going to see clearly, and we're probably going to realize, damn, God's a cool SOB, and we're going to feel real effed up the way we treated other people while we're in this construct, because we're going to find out that in all of our interactions in the human experience, that every single time we said something, did something, shared something, took something, we're actually doing it to another piece of God.
Well, that's your belief system. I take issue with that. I respectfully disagree. I don't want to come across like Graham Hancock and rile you up or anything like that.
Yeah,
but
that's good.
I'm not Graham Hancock. I'm not a millionaire. I don't make millions of dollars writing books. I am independently wealthy as a king, but I am not Graham Hancock. I would say that this is a realm of suffering, not a realm of learning experiences. I would say that this realm is designed to create suffering. Not that I want it that way. I don't like it this way. I don't like this realm. It's a place where our anatomy is designed to make us suffer. The immune system of the human body, the central nervous system, we can't shut off our pain. Earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes, all this is built into the design to create suffering. Life eats life every single second of every day in brutal ways.
I'm still not hearing a disagreement here, because one of the principal tenets in Archaix is that we're in a predator versus prey ecosphere, and everything is designed to put the smash on us. And
but I'm getting at the point here. It's not teaching us anything spiritually. And the oversoul, whether you want to call it source, oversoul, Yaldabaoth, you could call it 100,000 more names. It's the same thing, essentially, what you're referring to. You don't like the term God. Other people say source. Other people say God. What's the difference? I view it as whatever it is, whatever that being is, it gets off on our suffering. It creates suffering here. And whether you want to call it loosh or whatever is being extracted from us, our energy, we're not learning here. We're actually suffering and feeding demonic entities. This is a demonic realm. Yes, there's beauty. I've taken thousands of photographs. I'm an artist. I draw, I paint. I see beauty. I have artwork right behind me on my wall. I make artwork all the time. I've made hundreds of drawings, paintings. I'm aware of the beauty in the natural world. I go hiking. I've been hunting, fishing my whole life. I'm not unaware of natural beauty, but that's an illusion in this realm. So whether it's what you say, it's a simulation basically, or whether it's what I say, I'm saying this is a realm of suffering, and my spirit is not here to learn. I think that this is a recycling system, and the more that you get recycled here, your body gets degraded, your spirit gets degraded, your consciousness, and the ones that have spent 100 lifetimes here or 1,000 are the zombies or the NPCs, as some would call them, of this realm. This is my first lifetime here, and that's why I'm aware of this. As soon as I came in this realm as a toddler, I knew I'm not from here. I'm not from this place. I'm not learning here. This is a degradation realm for spirits, not a learning school. It's the exact opposite. And the people that say they're old souls, they're just the most degraded. You don't learn more by coming here 100 times, 1,000 times. You get degraded, and that's what this place does. And there's 10,000 human diseases. So what oversoul or good source or good God would create 10,000 fucking diseases for human beings that are documented? Over 10,000 and counting. What's the point of that? What's the point of that stuff?
Dude, I can't argue anything you're saying. I mean, you have absolutely defined your experience and set the perimeters of exactly what you are going to experience.
I have a good experience. I'm independently wealthy. I'm not in pain.
About that. That's more power to you.
No, it's not defining my experience. I'm defining what the realm is, not me personally. My experience is fine.
I don't know how you can prove to me the existence of spirits feeding off your whatever loosh, whatever you're talking about. I don't know how you would ever go about explaining. This is some
eyewitness accounts.
That's a modern new age
near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences.
They're all entirely subjective, and they only belong to the perceiver. They're not your experiences.
Well, eyewitness it. No, I've had my own experiences as well. So they are some of my experiences dating back to childhood, going out of body as a little boy when I was 4, 5, 6 years old and seeing entities at the foot of my bed. That is my experience. So that's firsthand account. It would be used in a courtroom, as you're familiar with courts. Firsthand eyewitnesses are taken as evidence. You're dismissing that as evidence, and there's millions of them, millions of firsthand out-of-body experiences and millions of near-death experiences. How can you throw away 3 million, 5 million of those, as well as reincarnation accounts?
I'm not throwing them away, but there's a whole bunch of them that are countering exactly what you're saying. Many of the NDE and OBE experiences, they're saying the exact opposite of what you're telling me right now.
Oh, exceptions exist, of course, but there's lots of deceptions with these accounts where they see a fake Jesus. That's not enough to fool me. A fake Jesus saying, you've got a mission, you got to go back down to earth and suffer more. What do you learn here? I'll ask you this, Jason. What do you learn in your lifetime spiritually in this realm that you couldn't learn outside of this realm?
I believe that there's multiple different constructs, and this isn't the only one. And we probably have all the same type of lessons elsewhere, but in different types of avatars and different types of environments. It's your perspective being very dark doesn't dissuade me at all from all the personal experiences that I've had. I've already been through the darkness. I know exactly what you're saying, but I also know it doesn't apply to me.
I've had beautiful. It's not about, you're limiting it down to personal experience, and I'm giving a big picture view of the entire realm. I'm not speaking about myself. You're just hearing it that way.
Yeah,
I have a good life.
I don't see your big picture. I mean, I see hundreds of millions of souls here that all have totally different perspectives. They're not yours.
You see what you want to see. If you don't see my big picture, you see what you want to see.
All right. So you have anything else to share? Because you and I are never going to agree that this is a 100% just a dark experience.
I never said it was 100% dark. I mentioned the beauty, nature. You're changing what I said, because I mentioned the beauty, hiking in forests, artwork, music. I mentioned all kinds of things that are not perfectly dark or 100% dark.
You're only mentioning surface features. We were talking about the spiritual. When we were talking about the spiritual, everything you said was dark. When you're talking about beneficial things, you're just talking about surface avatar constructual shit.
It's a dark realm, but
totally different.
It's topics. A dark realm, but you called me a troll right off the bat. Anyway, regardless of that, this is a dark realm, and we bring good spirits. Maybe not you. Maybe you're a different species of spirit than me. I think you probably are, based on your life history. But we bring in the goodness. The good spirits bring in goodness into a dark realm. I'm going to get free from this realm. I think you're going into the recycling bin with your views. That's where I think you're headed.
That's cool.
That's the truth. Man. I got a couple more questions for you. Why did you plead guilty to all the felonies when you were younger and you were charged? If you're innocent, why would you plead guilty? on all charges to kidnapping and aggravated sexual assault. You pled guilty.
That's easy for me to answer. That's easy for me to answer. Shit that night got out of hand, and I took the victim to the police department and wrote a full statement about everything that happened that night. Every single thing. So once you do something like that, you're not going to plead innocent. I took full responsibility that night for everything.
What do you mean it got out of hand? What do you mean by that? Shit got out of hand.
Yeah, you know what? You're gonna go. You're gonna go, man. I'm done with the trolling. I've been seeing Sanity Machine's little troll posts for a long time.
Oh, I felt that one.
Yeah, man. He ain't talking about shit.
Hi, Jason. I'm Holly. Nice to meet you.
Let me see, check your audio real quick. You got something rattling?
Could be the microphone. Let me just.
There you go. I can hear you better now.
Okay. Hi, Jason.
What's up, man?
A bit nervous, but I'm here now.
Well, what you be nervous for?
I'm nervous. I've been waiting to come in here since earlier this year. Just didn't work out.
That's all right. It's been what 2-3 months since I did a video like this. It's been a while.
Yeah, so there's so many ways I can come into this conversation. Listening to him, yeah, I think like some people do experience things, but yeah, this is, in my opinion, a testing ground, and people reincarnate over and over until they make their exit. That's what I think about that.
I mean, that's 100% my position. It's you can keep. I mean, that dude can keep a dark, interpretation to his experience. You know what I mean? That's his experience, though. It's not my right to try to redefine for him this world. All I can do is share my experience and explain to people that, look, man, through intuition, empathy, humor, and imagination, we are world builders. And we do build our world here. But if there are people who are slaved to a philosophy where they think everything in this world is completely dark, then everything will continue to be dark for them. But we don't have the right to pull those people from the mire. Let them enter, their feedback loops, because that's all it is. It's a bunch of feedback loops. There's no freedom there at all. So yeah, it's a real dark, philosophy, but you know what? I can't condemn them for it. And it's David Icke has the same idea that we're in a prison realm and some dark spiritual beings are feeding off our spiritual essence, and it's some like Matrix type shit where, yeah, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it because there's just no way that my concept of the oversoul is ever going to allow for a situation that immortal souls are actually in any real danger. All the danger is quarantined. It's quarantined right here where it's made to be believable. But once we exit this and we look back ex post facto, it's going to be like, damn, I really needed to experience that because I would have never understood. You can't build empathy unless you've actually suffered something. You know what I mean? It requires that suffering.
Yeah, so some people perhaps have to deal with that in that lifetime, then other people don't. And I've learned a lot from you. I found you through Max Egan.
Love that man.
And,
I hope he's getting better. He was sick recently.
Yeah, he's been using that Tesla machine to get better.
Okay.
But of course he's getting older now, so that's what happens with age. Yeah, and the immortal within, that's something that I've really come to really feel with your videos, and understanding that this is a simulation and that there's more in us than out, and the only way out is in. But getting through to the light requires darkness, unfortunately. And sometimes sometimes I'm confused on your philosophy in terms of like turning a lie into a truth. For example, like someone asks you, are you okay? And you tell them you're okay, but you're not. So you have to lie to then make it a truth. But in the moment, it's not true because you're not feeling good. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that
I
would be
do.
something dark that you have to deal with in the moment, and then try to flip it, like manifesting. You know, you want to become a better person. You have to tell yourself a lie to become that future self.
Oh, yeah, we can look at it negatively, but we can also look at it positively, because the exact same thing is equally true. Because doesn't the Bible say that the one who exhibits true faith is he that can call things that be not as though they are? So also act as if you are. I say this a lot in my presentations: act as if you are, and you will be. I didn't make that up. In 1902, a book was published by Judge Thomas Troward. He was an actual court judge, but Judge Thomas Troward published a book on the power of the mind. And in that book, he said, "Act as if you are, and you will be." Well, if you're acting as you are, then you're not. Then you're absolutely lying. But the construct isn't worried about the morality of truth and error. It's only watching what you do and then making it come true as a follow through. So this is what we do all the time. Fake it to make it. You heard that before.
Yeah. Yeah, bear with me. There's a lot of things I could mention. Yeah, I believe that this is a machine, and that it's not hearing what we say. It's reading our emotions through a signal. And the nervous system, you can't be yourself sometimes. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you're sick. So you want to be that person on the day, but it's just not happening. And that's unfortunate. Like anxiety, it might stop you from doing the things you want to do. This is a dark side video, so I guess I could say that I will say no. What am I saying? For me, disassociation, depersonalization, detachment are some ways that I came to realize that this isn't real. By letting go of things.
You mentioned something. You mentioned something. One of the first things you mentioned is by far the most important.
There's many things I could say. Yeah.
It's Harley. It's one of the first things you mentioned is by far the most important of all of them, and it's that there is nothing in the field at all that you need to really be aware of, because every answer for everything that you ever need to do is actually within. If you were to just search within, because that's the only real contact you're ever going to have with the oversoul, because the oversoul is not represented in anything that can be seen, tasted, touched, felt, or smelled. Your senses are all about the entrapment of the construct. Therefore, you have to go beyond the senses in order to have a deep connection with the oversoul. That can only be done within. So whatever you're going through in life, whatever you want, I mean, even if you come into contact with theories that bother you, even if you come across information that bothers you, you can go within. You need to find that quiet spot, man, go within. And when you come out of that, man, you're going to have peace. You're going to have peace in whatever it is. Because it's, I've been telling people on my channel for years, if you don't think you have the strength to do whatever it is you're trying to do, then all you got to do is ask the oversoul to provide the strength, or provide a way for you to get the strength, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I think a part of your journey was to, how you went to prison. That was a way for you to disassociate from the world, to get space from it, to then realize it's not real through your time in confinement. You were able to write those books and come to this conclusion. Not just that, but all the data you've come across. If you were outside, you wouldn't have done all that.
So it was definitely a disconnect.
Was destined. Yeah, that was destined, you could say, for you to do all that, for you to go through that pain, that darkness in there, to realize all this isn't real. because you probably wouldn't have written all those books outside of prison, right?
Yeah,
It's only because you went. It's only because you went in there that those books happened.
I think you're absolutely correct. I think I probably would have had just telling you from 17 years old, 18 years old, 19 years old, 20. I probably would have had 3 ex-wives and about 15 kids, and my life would have been very, very different.
Yeah. And as I talk to you right now, I'm just thinking if there's anything else that I'd like to say. I mean, there's so much to talk about, and there's other people that might want to talk to you. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's actually amazing to meet you. Like, I've been listening to you for over a year.
Thank you, man.
To finally meet you and talk to you, yeah, it's such a good feeling.
Where are you from, Harley?
I'm from Australia.
Australia, okay. You don't really have a deep Australian accent.
Yeah. What does it sound like?
I don't know. I almost thought you were from the United States or Canada.
Yeah, maybe it's like music over the years. Maybe it's listening to certain speakers like yourself, or just influence from the internet. But yeah, I'm from Australia, from Melbourne, down south.
Okay.
Yeah. I did mention once to you. I asked you a question about psychosis, and yeah, I think psychosis for some is that way of them finding out that this world isn't real, by having that by losing their mind, being schizophrenic, whether it be from drugs or something else.
Huh.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about you see, I wrote this earlier this year. This piece of paper. Something about cannabis and something about the construct and
Go ahead.
yeah.
What do
you? Yeah. Do we have time? It's okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
What do you think? Okay. What do you think about cannabis? And do you think it can work for some to get them to understand more that this isn't real? Like, what's your take on the drug?
Well, I don't indulge. And it's not that almost everybody in my inner circle does. I just don't. I've never really had I just never really had the desire. I mean, in the joint, I did 2 or 3 times, and I didn't really. I just never felt it. Being just laid back, and it just never felt it. But as far as being a miracle drug, yeah, I'm gonna have to say not just that, but the byproducts like hemp, the entire clothing industry, ropes, string, twine, everything was made out of hemp back in the day. It was an awesome product. It was an awesome resource now that we've demonized it. And but as far as the marijuana goes, people who indulge in marijuana aren't the ones going out robbing people. People do, and they're not the ones doing anything in society other than getting along, laughing and joking, listening to music, kicking it. It seems like a totally natural, like peyote, totally natural drug, mushrooms. I don't have any. You're asking somebody who has absolutely no drug experience. I just don't do it. I don't indulge, but I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with marijuana at all. It definitely helps older people with joint problems, arthritic problems. It helps people with neurological issues. I know a female that smokes weed only because she had strokes, and since she had strokes, if she stays high, she acts completely normal. Her diction, enunciation, her recall, everything's perfect. But when she's not on marijuana, there's some type of synaptic thing going wrong with her, and she knows that.
For some people, they use it just to feel normal, just to level out, to focus.
Yeah, I get
and
that.
I think, for some people, it can work for and against. I think for some people, it can help them realize what this world is, and it can activate. It can, it amplifies. It amplifies certain things. Maybe it can help people manifest quicker. They can be themselves. Yeah, I'm thinking that it can really help the way people live, but it can also be a detriment too.
I agree. Oh, you guys in the chat might want to check your emails. I just sent a whole bunch of links out again for everybody who appeared.
Okay. Construct doesn't hear but sees through association, like reptiles. Okay, so yeah, you know how you're saying, like, if you want a new car, you go to a car yard, you run through the salesman. So you like have to show the construct what you want through association, not necessarily through the item itself.
Right. I don't believe it's paying attention to a single thing we say. I mean, think about it. The colloquials and the idioms alone that we use basically mean that we never mean what we say. I mean, when you affectionately say, when somebody does something to you, like plays a joke on you, you can say, I'm gonna kill you. You could mean it to an enemy, or you could say it affectionately to somebody who knows that you're never going to kill them. You know what I mean? I'm gonna kill you. There's no way that the construct responds to us our verb, the way we verbalize. There's no way. But it sure as hell responds to us by what we physically do. I can give you an example now. How many times in your past, Harley, have you done something physically that just shocked you because it was an emergency, there was an exigency, something was going on, and you did something acrobatic that you have never practiced for in your life, and yet you pulled it off perfectly on a bicycle, on a skateboard, on roller skates, whatever. If you were running or jogging, if you were in a vehicle and you pulled off a stunt that you know you could have never done, even if you practiced for, but you did it in an instant. You follow me?
Yeah. Are you talking about faith?
I'm not talking about faith. I'm talking about you moved your avatar in a certain direction, having no other alternative, and it's like the whole construct made it happen. I'll give you an example. I was in a high-speed police chase when I was 16 years old. I had boosted a car, and I got a charge for unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, and it was icy roads in Hurst, Texas, and I went down a hill, and it was snow and ice everywhere, and there was no way to apply the brakes. There was an intersection at the bottom of the hill, and there was no stopping this vehicle. So I just navigated the vehicle because there was a car at the intersection, and there was car traffic going back and forth, and I don't know what happened to me. But I got super calm, and I navigated the vehicle, and I was within a hair of hitting the windows on a light pole and on the vehicle that was right there at the intersection. I went right between them. Right as cars went by, I went right through them. And it was just, we have these incidents in our life where something within us just takes over, and everything's going to be all right. It just takes over, and the construct itself literally moves men and materials to make sure everything's all right. Has anything ever happened to you similar to this, where you know that, damn, I should have been effed off, but you came through it?
I can't give an example off the top right now, but I'm thinking maybe that's the oversoul helping you in that moment. And the oversoul was able to, although not in the construct, outside the construct, temporarily move things in the construct for you, knowing your destiny.
Absolutely.
Because you weren't really supposed to be there, but that dark moment led to where you are now.
Yeah, absolutely. You've had some incidents. Everybody does. It's just,
yeah,
this is it goes with the idea that, a lot of people want to believe the Genesis account that humans have lived for 900 years and all that, when that was based off of, That was the Jews in Babylon not understanding the lunar reckoning system that was being used. So they applied what they understood, the years, solar years, and they got all these patriarchs living for hundreds and hundreds of years. But the truth is, in 900 years, do you know how many times you would have died just by accident? Just by accident. So it's they didn't live that long. Well, that's my point. That's my point. It's just it's mathematically improbable to live that long. Just by accident you would have died. But even a man who's 40 years old has come close to death multiple times, whether he's aware of it or not. So it's just mathematical probability. There's too many accidents. We live in an accident-prone universe.
Yeah,
Harley, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna go ahead and talk to some other people. It's before we close this show out.
Sure. There are other things we could talk about, but fair enough. And yeah, I do think we live in a fear planet.
Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to be doing these dark sides at night quite regularly. So keep that email, because next time I see you in there, I'll pull you on the screen.
Okay, and yeah, it's good to stay in faith and not to be fearing too much, to react proactive, to be proactive, as you say, and not to react in fear.
Absolutely.
Just quickly, how old is this this timeline? So the first year is how many years? Thousands.
You're asking my opinion?
Yeah.
Okay, you're asking my opinion because you know that I'm a simulationist and I believe that we're in a mathematical construct. Just so we're on the same page, right? Okay, so I've given this a lot of thought. Now, even though the background programming shows me 5239 BC was the start of the nervous system, every 600 years going all the way to 1962, where something very interesting happened in 1962 relative to that calendar. And then the Phoenix timeline begins 4309 BC, the Great Flood 2239 BC, the Dark Satellite 1899 BC. Oh, I forgot 3439 BC is the Nemesis X object. Even though we have these different timelines that started many different calendars of the ancient world, I don't believe that any of that is actually a part of our true history. It is background programming for us to study and learn from, to understand our situation right now. I don't even think that 522 AD, one of the worst years in world history, when Phoenix and Nemesis X were here in the same year, and it's the only year in world history they were. I don't even think back. I honestly believe that this part of the sim that we're in, this historical part, started sometime in the 1600s.
Okay, and after 2178, it's a program. It goes back to the start.
Right.
And
right.
That year is how many years BC? Like,
okay. So let me share something really quick. So Rita, I'm gonna get with you just for in a second.
Yeah, thank you.
So Harley, this is a really good question. I'm glad you asked it. So that we're all on the same page. The archaic scenario isn't linear like you think. What I am suggesting, based off all the chronological information that I have recorded in Chronicon and throughout all my published books, what I am suggesting is that we ran simulations for a certain period of time up until a certain point. Once we were satisfied with the output, we closed that part of the sim and it became background programming. Then as a group, because I believe humans are on the outside of the construct too, we volunteered to come into this. Then as a group, we move forward in another series of sims. We don't like some of these biospheres. We don't like some of these conditions. We don't like this vapor canopy world. It's not working for us. We don't like the desert world. Well, so all these, we run a whole series of sims until we find the right ingredients for whatever we're looking for. We figured something out. So now we stop at that point of history. That might be the BC AD, the reason that whole system was created. Then we start over. So we're trying to figure out how to live through a new vapor canopy world after the dark ages. Now we're trying to get through that. We may have run the sim hundreds of times until we got it to where the conditions are right. This entire experiment could be all about survivability after the Nemesis star collapses, and are we going to survive here in the Sol system? Assuming all this is a copy of somewhere else. So in the Archaix model, all this calendrical research is pointing to something that it's all a part of a master plan, and that the background histories that, like I showed the other day in the video, it's too mathematically perfect. These events could have never unfolded this way. It is mathematically precise, even to the point of predictive value. So it is my assertion, based off all these data sets, is that we as a collective have agreed up to a certain point that all these past sims are closed, they're done, and we find the residual programming everywhere, and they're very mysterious to them. We call them ooparts, we call them anomalies, we call them mysteries, we call them all kinds of enigmatic labels, but they're just constructual fossils of past simulations, and we've moved on. And now we're in one that started about in the 1600s. And I believe we're on our 5th, 6th, or 7th iteration of that one. We keep starting it over, going back to the 1600s, starting it over, going back to the 1600s until we get it right. We may be on the final one, but it's my personal opinion that 1626 was the beginning of the last sim round.
And then we have Phoenix coming up 2040, and then 46 with the Nemesis X.
Yeah.
Which is going to be interesting the next 15 years. I'm 33.
It's already getting interesting.
I'll be, in my 40s when the Phoenix happens, and then Nemesis X. But I won't be around. You won't either. We won't for 2178 and even 2106.
No, it may be all about 2040 and 2046, and then after 2046, the future programming is all a part of the past programming. Remember, if you look too far in the future, you're just looking at the past. If you look too closely at the past, you're just looking at the future. Remember, we're not on linear time. This is a cycle. It is entirely cyclical.
Yeah, it's a program. It loops. Do you think this is your last life, or maybe your second last life?
I don't know. I mean, you guys kind of regard me as somebody who's got it all figured out, but I don't.
Last life.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm probably. This is probably not my last one. Who knows? I don't know. It's just, I just have a passion, as you know, for history and chronology, but I also have a passion for people who I know do not have access to information, to be able to have access to it, and access to it as freely as I can make it.
You're amazing, though, really. And I'm not trying to pump you up or anything, like the stuff you've done.
I appreciate it, man.
And the situation that you've been in. Situations.
Hey, man, you know what?
To get all those books
Life
out.
happens. Life happens. I got to go, Harley. I got to get Sarita on.
Sure. Okay. Thank you, Jason. And I hope to meet you one day, too. Who knows? I might come to
If I
Houston.
ever make it to Australia, if I do, I'm going to go visit Autodidactic.
I'd like to see you, though. It'd be cool.
All right, man. Till next time, buddy.
We can talk later. Okay. Take care.
You too. Sarita.
Hi, Jason.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. Okay, so I'm going to try to keep this brief. So I wrote in the email, one of the questions I had was, what is your interpretation of THX before 1138?
THX?
In front of 1138, the movie.
I've never seen it.
So the movie THX 1138, which was done by George Lucas.
Oh, I remember you, Sarita. I remember you now.
Yeah.
You have mentioned this movie in the past, I believe. I still haven't watched. I still haven't seen it.
Oh, you have to watch it. I think actually everybody in your audience should watch it, and you could do a live on this, because it's really about like where we are right now in terms of a mind-controlled society.
Huh. So I remember you mentioning the THX, or you or somebody else did, because it was like it's like THX 1 and then 138.
Well,
if you separate
the Right. The name of the movie is called THX 1138, but then I had sent you a picture of American Graffiti where the license plate actually said THX 138.
Oh, wow. All right.
And that was what I thought was a nod to the Phoenix. And so it doesn't matter. I'm just bringing it up again. And so I wanted to hear what you thought.
So
but
what do you
maybe
think?
that's
Do you
the
think
question.
George Lucas may know more than what he's
I do. And
putting out?
that's the second part of my question was, do you think that George knew more about all of this? Because I worked for him for 25 years.
I remember you now, Sarita. I remember you talking about it.
Yeah. So in the beginning, I didn't really know anything about anything.
Right.
But over time, you know, I just started to catalog, like, what's going on here? What's going on? What's going on? There's patterns. So I don't really want to talk about that, but I just really wanted to say the patterns that you're bringing up have like almost PTSD resonance with me because they're allowing me to remember things that I've seen, and I can actually go, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. So what you're doing, not just for me, but for many people, especially in the movie industry, which I think was cataloging everything that has to do with Phoenix so that they would have a documentary.
Yeah, you know what? The closest Star Wars is something else, but one of the closest approximations I can come up with the Nemesis X super construction is a famous Death Star.
Mm-hmm.
How interesting that we have somebody named Skywalker coming into the chat now. Yeah. How that happened?
How'd that happen?
Yes, Rita. I don't know. I do need to watch that movie because I remember you telling me about it in the past.
So those were the two things that I really wanted to talk to you about. And, you know, I think you're really starting to hit a nerve, and it's not bad. It's, I think some of the emails, if you go back and read them, I don't think that a lot of these filmmakers knew actually what they were doing, like Stanley Kubrick. And I don't want to do a film analysis. I've never seen Star Wars, and I worked for George for 25 years.
Wow. That's crazy.
So, and I don't need to see Star Wars to know what the story is, because it's the human family saga.
Yeah. Star Wars hits all the archetypes. Yeah. It's something else.
Yeah. So that's all I've got, and I appreciate you and your audience very much.
I appreciate it. It's good. Finally good to see you. I remember all your emails now.
Good. Here I am, finally.
All right, Sarita, talk to you next time. Oh, where are you from? Where are you hailing from now?
I'm in Marin County, California.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in California right now. I'm kind of real nervous about all these volcanoes going off. You guys are connected to that tectonic plate, and after my video showing that huge area west of the Sierra Nevadas, listen, if something was underwater one time in the recent past, believe me, it can be underwater fast in the present too.
Well, you know, you're right. And not to be an alarmist, but I also wrote in one of your other chat groups, I was just in Mount Shasta over the past couple of days.
Yeah, I got a lot of earthquake activity there right now.
Oh my God, you could feel the ground rumbling behind, you know, underneath you. And I was with my 87-year-old mother who's blind and has dementia, but she could feel it. You know, she was like, something's happening here. And I wanted to go because, not to, you know, do anything except there is something happening here. And I think I've written you, I feel like I have a front row seat to kind of a shit show that needs to be documented. I think
Yeah,
a lot of us
you'll have
do.
to give me more details on that.
Okay. So that's it.
All right, Sarita, talk to you later.
Thanks.
Man, I know. Let's see. I don't know how to. All right. So Skywalker, you're following right behind the lady that worked for George Lucas for 25 years. I've been getting her emails for a couple of years. She used to tell me about the Star Wars ranch, the Lucas ranch.
Ah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, hi Jason, I've been watching you for years, mate. I'm from Scotland, and well, in Edinburgh.
Awesome.
And basically, I was watching. Like, what really got me started was about 6 years ago. I was at a party in Edinburgh, and I came back about 2 a.m. I heard trumpets bellowing from the night sky. And all the neighbours came to the window. Everybody was thinking, what the hell's that noise? It was about 2 a.m. Like, you could hear it coming from the sky. Yeah. Now, I watched a lot of Linda Moulton Howie's work. I don't know if you're aware of Linda Moulton Howie.
Linda Moulton Howe. That's how I always pronounced it. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I read one of her books. It's published by Booktree.
Right, yeah. She had obviously been, a lot of her followers have been talking about this. It's been getting heard all around the world. I just wondered if you knew any information in regards to any of this.
Yeah, well, there's a term for it. And I have seen some pretty harrowing videos, but they're calling them skyquakes, and they do sound like trumpets. It's I don't know what a skyquake is. That's just what they called it, but they were first reported, at least that we know of, in Pliny the Elder's time. Pliny the Elder in natural history mentioned them. Then they're mentioned several times in the Middle Ages, but it's just really deep rumblings and they're not thunder. They're not lightning and thunder. They're not storms. They're just coming from empty, you know what? It just lends credence that we're under a dome and that the sky is fake.
100% agree. I mean, the stuff I've watched for years, I mean, literally all your programs, every single one of them, Jason, and like, it's made me aware that death is an illusion. You know, it really is. We're more than what they say we are. 100%. It's just it's some of the things that you come up with every day, man. Every time I watch your stuff, I was in prison myself, Jason. My son got killed. Long story. I'm not going to go into that. But just recently fought leukemia. And the process with chemotherapy at the moment. Last year in Glasgow Hospital, I was sitting literally in big trouble. And basically, I'd asked the creator for help. And since then, my life has got much better. I wonder, like, why is that? You know, I had a cross on my chest, and actually, funny enough, a cannabis leaf, even though I don't smoke it.
Yeah.
And I
would have never guessed, because you look good. You look healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I lost them at this time last year. I had no hair and whatever. But yeah, I mean, since then, since I asked the creator for help, life's changed. Got a good woman in my life. Family's great, you know. And obviously, but still aware every single day I watch your stuff, because I know you're one of the brightest minds on the planet right now. And it's some of the amazing work that you do, mate. You know, it opens up my mind to know that there is someone else that knows that this we're living in is I call it a real life organic simulation. Yeah. That's what I call this place, you know. But I mean, listen, I know you've got other people and what have you, Jason. So thank you very much.
I appreciate it, man. And listen, that's all you got to do. When you quit looking at anything in the construct, because remember, your avatar belongs to the construct. When you quit looking at all the solutions the construct tries to give you, and you just go within. And going within means swallowing your pride and just totally admitting, man, there's nothing I can do about this, man. I need some help. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do, man. That's it. The formula is so simple. It's just the ego. The ego gets in people's way, man, and they just
100%.
They can't do it.
Yeah, man. I agree.
All right, bro. I'm feeling your energy, man. That's good talking to you.
Good luck, man. Much love. Best wishes.
Until next time.
Until next time.
All right, let's see. We got somebody else back here. We got Jason back here. We got another Jason.
Jason, thank you so much for having me on. Salutations from Anaheim, California. I'm hoping to catch you one of these days when you're in Cali or on your way to the book tree. Where do I start, man? I mean, I haven't been following you long, but I for about over a year. In fantastic material. I've been blown away, and I've never seen anybody with your research in the sense of using established research from historians and chronologists from before, researchers that have been not even modern people that have been deliberately maybe set aside or not propagandized, popularly. But you bring these books out, and you really awakened this kind of hunger in me to be able to pour through that material in my personal time. But I don't want to be too long-winded. I do have a question for you.
Sure.
You in some of your earliest videos, you talked about Cro-Magnon and Neanderthal, and I haven't poured through all of it to be able to kind of get that continuity, get that understanding. But where in the timeline does Cro-Magnon and this interaction between Cro-Magnon and Neanderthal happen, between, like, as it pertains to Anuna arriving and things like that?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you right here. First of all, you have to divorce yourself from the idea of the uniformitarian model that is painted what Neanderthal were and what Cro-Magnon were. First of all, the Neanderthal were unconquerable. They're strong. They're fast. Almost like super intelligent tall apes. All right, they had this world, but this world wasn't here in the soul system. When Neanderthal were running the show and fighting against large creatures and all that, we were on the Nemesis ecliptic. This is why Neanderthal is no different than a human, but in a different biosphere, they grow different. Epiphyseal cartilage builds up over the bone. The skull gets longer, and because they live to 80 to 90 years in a high pressure environment, bone density, it creates all these different types of humans. They're only different because of the biosphere changed. So Cro-Magnon is just introduced, creating a bunch of confusion. The Cro-Magnon were the Anuna. Cro-Magnon anatomy is completely different than Neanderthal. Neanderthal had super thick bones and very long arms. The Cro-Magnon, that was Neanderthal. Cro-Magnon had a sedentary anatomy. Do you know the difference? Sedentary anatomy means their legs are shorter, their arms are shorter, their skulls are longer. These are people who, for a very long period of time, were relying on technology. They didn't have the bone structure of the Neanderthal. They didn't have the fighter. They didn't have the anatomy of the warrior and fighter. They're not out there hunting rabbits for their food. They're not out there fighting off wolf packs. When Cro-Magnon were first discovered, it was really interesting that they were all discovered in the caves of the world. So what do we know about in the cyclical phenomenon? What do we know about the caves of the world? That's where everybody goes to survive a reset. What were Cro-Magnon? What was very noticeable about the Cro-Magnon that differentiated them from the Neanderthal? Whenever the cataclysm occurred, we just lost Jason. Signal break. But whenever the cataclysm occurred, apparently Cro-Magnon were technologically advanced, and they were hunting with projectile weapons like rifles that could send a boar right through. I'm talking about a bullet that bored right through thick skulls of giant boar and mammoths like they weren't even there. Whatever projectiles they were shooting were awesome, because we have found the skeletons that were killed with these projectiles. Cro-Magnon were found with button-down shirts with collars. They were found with almost like Levi's 501 jeans. They were found with almost denim-like clothes with button-down fly. They had button flies. They wore belts. They wore trousers. They wore hats. Cro-Magnon. This is coming from scientific material. Lewis, I quote Lewis Spence a lot. He wrote a lot about the Magdalenian Cro-Magnon branch. And You could take farmers in the 1920s and 30s and put them right next to Cro-Magnon, and you would not know the difference. You wouldn't know the difference at all. The Cro-Magnon, their clothes, check this out, the thread count on their clothes was phenomenal. And also, when you take a civilized, technologically advanced people and you take their entire infrastructure in a pole shift, and every city is destroyed, all their technology, the entire power grid, everything is gone, and the few survivors are living in the caves, one thing that you can't take away from them is their aesthetics. And that's exactly what scientists found. They found that Cro-Magnon were painting elaborate, anatomically perfect animals on the cave walls, and were even using the protuberances on the cave walls for the 3D effect on the deal. It says this is not the type of art that you find from Neolithic peoples. They're not doing that. This was people who understood light, proportion, symmetry, and knew how to draw animals as they actually looked. This is because they're still advanced, they're in their thinking, they're still educated, and they're still artistic. They've lost everything else. This is what we found out about Cro-Magnon. We also found out from the bone middens that the Neanderthal were eating them after whatever disaster happened. They could no longer defend themselves against the roving packs of Neanderthal. So, that's we're talking about the period right before the Phoenix episode of 4309. We're talking about 5th millennium and 4th millennium BC.
So to that point, Jason, I've always wondered when we talked about Cro-Magnon, when they found these bones, did they find them in like giant sized bones? Like we've talked about giants, you've talked about giants and titans and things like that. Were Cro-Magnon and Neanderthals of a giant stature?
Okay, in the pre-flood world, in the pre-flood world, we had 2 vapor canopy periods. They seem to only last for about 200 years. I'm now understanding that vapor canopy is a cycle. This isn't something that was just in the pre-flood world. This is something that answers for the why that giants became a real popular notion in the 13th, 12th, and 11th century BC after they had pretty much fallen in the biblical narrative. They pretty much were gone right before the time of David and Goliath, with Goliath being one of the last. And then there was a resurgence in the writings of Hesiod. And then again with the Trojan War at the same period of time. After the 7 against Thebes, giants seem to be everywhere. But what else just happened? The Ogygian deluge, a massive 25-year darkness all over the world, both hemispheres. Then we have the Dark Ages, where all of a sudden after the Dark Ages, what do we have? We have Turkish navigators that got all kinds of maps showing ice-free Greenland, showing ice-free Antarctica, showing a North America that has no Great Lakes, and yet California is an independent island. So I'm seeing vapor canopy is cyclical as well, and giants are a part of the vapor canopy world, just like the 2 scientists that I have the source materials in my Chronicon. I mentioned the book that talks about and names these guys, but I have their names and their ages. But they both grew 2 inches just from researching a volcano that had just detonated. You're familiar with the 1902 Mount Pelée?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So each of the scientists grew about 2 inches or so each, respectively. And they were already well in their old age. Exactly.
And so we have the Patagonian giants, which the Patagonian giants were already old, and they were already fading away because within 100 years they were gone. But the Patagonian giants in the 1590s were recorded by Magellan. And then other Spanish and Corsican and Corsican navigators went to Patagonia, and they verified, damn, man, these people are gigantic. But to answer your question about the Cro-Magnon averaging, the males averaged at 7 feet. Okay. The females averaged at 5'2" and 5'3". This is not an anomaly. It is more evidence of a sedentary advanced race, because a sedentary advanced race is going to have all kinds of ways where petite females can be with very large males, and it's medically not going to be a problem when they give birth and all this. This isn't what you find with Neanderthal. With Neanderthal, the women were huge, almost equal to the men. So it's it's totally different. I see my buddy Jeff Stout in Hawaii is in the chat. My childhood buddy.
Thank you for that, Jason. I appreciate it. Question number 2: what source material do you have? Because you've raised points about Abraham being Brahma, Sarah being Saraswati. What source materials could you point me to where I could read into that? I mean, excellent points. I mean, it kind of makes sense why there's some type of a shared history with some of these older civilizations, and where that wisdom originating from the Giza pyramids became essentially the mysticism in other countries, the wisdom in other countries and other nations.
Oh man, all I can tell you is that in the Booktree catalog, there is a section on Eastern texts and like India. It's got the Bhagavad Gita and the Mahabharata and the Ramayana. But it's also got Ganga Prasad. It's got several books by yogis. It's in that collection of books that blew my mind when I was reading about Brahma and Saraswati, and even the author. I think it's called the Fountainhead of Old Religion or something, or that old time religion. Gotcha. One of those books in the Booktree catalog blew my mind because the Vedic scholar was making the associations showing that the Judeo-Christian version was completely borrowed. There are no records anywhere in the world showing a Jewish Abraham ever existed. It was completely borrowed from Brahma and Saraswati. You'd have to refer to the Booktree catalog.
Will do. I will do that. Is there any other culture that shares a reference to an Abraham, Sarah, other than the Vedic scriptures? Is there any other culture that you would say, okay, here we've triangulated this history. It's there. There's something. Something is shared with more than that.
The Greeks do, because it's widely known that the Greeks have. You ever heard of Hermes Trismegistus? Hermes the thrice great. Okay, that's the third Hermes. That's the Hermes that brought Hermeticism to ancient Greece. Before that, there was a Hermes that fits the exact life of Brahma, Abraham, Saraswati. But that's the second Hermes after the cataclysm. But before the cataclysm, there was a Hermes before the flood. That is the one that fulfills the role of Enoch. So when you're reading the Hermetic literature, it's talking about Hermes Trismegistus. That's Hermes the thrice great. And it's really a reference to the first Hermes being Enoch, the second one being Abraham, and the third one being the actual Hermes who brought Hermeticism to the Greek world.
Great. Thank you for that. And just to close it out, because I know that you might have some other guests. I know that you're not an avid TV watcher, but there is something I think that you're putting out in the field, either because the elite practice this whole idea of providing karmic notice to people about what is going to happen or what their plans are. But there's a TV series called Paradise. It just came out. Its first season's completed, and essentially the premise is you have society today, takes place basically in current day, and they're preparing for a catastrophe. The president, then senator in the scene, is seen attending a symposium with a billionaire, and with a scientist talking about how there is a predicted catastrophe in some time in the future, and then you see the billionaires essentially building a subterranean in the mountain, a whole new subterranean society within that.
Society.
What was that?
A breakaway society.
A breakaway society. It was when I saw this, I was like, I thought about you, and I thought about the recent videos that you posted, or even the past. And guess who leads this whole thing? It's the government, but in collusion with the billionaires of the country. And and then there's an awesome scene of the Washington. So what it is that a tsunami basically engulfs the nation. And there's this fantastic scene, hopefully you'll catch it one day, of the tip of the monument, like the triangular tip, essentially being the only thing above water. And it reminded me of when you talked about the Giza pyramids a very long time ago, where that plateau was underwater, and all you most likely would be able to see would be the tops of the pyramids, and how the tops of the pyramids are worn back because of the flow, the ebb and flow of ocean water, and that just kind of brought it all together for me. But anyway, thank you very much for your time, Jason, and I continue to do the great work. I hope to see you one of these soon when you visit California.
All righty, man. I'll be in San Diego sooner or later. I never know when, but
awesome.
All right, Jason. Thank you.
Thank you.
What's up, Ryan?
What's up, Jason, man? I've been following you for a few years now. How you doing?
I'm pretty good, man. You seem pretty laid back. You just tired or you high as hell?
Nah, I'm recently off the cannabis, man. I'm high on life, you know.
Okay, cool.
Waiting for you to come to New York sometime, man.
I got a friend, Dr. Corey Stearns, up in New York. I got another one, CB. They've been wanting me to come up there. I just, you know what? I definitely won't bring my van. There ain't nowhere to park that big thing.
You gotta bring the bike, dude. That's what's got to go on. You gotta take that bike up here.
I don't know if I'll take that bike in New York. I might not ever see it again.
Yeah, right. where I'm at's pretty good. But my question is, I was wondering, where do you find enlightenment and kind of like a spiritual awakening on the Archaix research? As someone that practices yoga and that has experienced, you know, pretty intense stuff with it, I feel like, you know, just kind of being aware of the simulation, and once you've like experienced something like that, I mean, I know you had your motorcycle accident and stuff, and I feel like that was very kind of like eye-opening for you, and from the story that, you know, you've told, you know, what do you think about that, man? And like, what do you think, you know, where do you think that leads? And like, you know, the Kundalini and all of that. I mean, I heard you just mention, you know, some Indian texts and stuff like that. I was just seeing your thoughts on that.
Well, I mean, it's we're such multifaceted beings that what really makes me vibrate at another level isn't the same that makes the next person. That's why some people get into yoga, some don't. I literally go into another state when I'm really hyper focused on something I'm reading. I become one with what I'm reading. It's just it's hard to explain. That's my most spiritual moments, is when I'm inside the mind of another writer, especially if it's something I'm interested in and I'm going through, because it's almost like I'm developing a relationship with the mind that put this text together. But other people I know meditate, and I know people, some people, they reach that state through music. It's different, you know, it's different strokes for different folks. So some people find that the closest they've ever been to God or the oversoul is through interacting with other people who feel the same way. And then others such as myself, is I'm really a recluse. I'm really a hermit, and I don't mean to be standoffish and hurt people's feelings and all that stuff, but you know what? It's I find my safe spot alone, just doing me, and it's really, I'm going to tell you now, man, really the whole YouTube channel deal is completely antithetical to what I would have believed I would have been doing the rest of my life. I would have never saw this. All those years researching in prison, all I thought I was going to do was write more books. Since I already had a legitimate publisher, I was just going to write more books. I might do some book signings. I might do some speech. I might speak here and there, but I figured the rest of my life was just going to be very quiet doing these things. I never would have imagined that I would have just stepped out of my comfort zone and started uploading videos to YouTube trying to share my Phoenix research. Never would have imagined this.
Yeah, I feel the same. I feel like, you know, being behind the scenes, I'm definitely more comfortable, you know, but maybe that's the duality. Maybe that's the, you know, being in the prison system and out of it. It's like, you know, the complete opposite of, you know, where your life was and where it is now. You know, maybe it's just like the full circle thing. But yes, as someone just has, you know, experienced and, you know, off of psychedelics and all that stuff. I know a lot of people do like the DMT and the mushrooms and all that. But I could say this from my own experience is that it's very, you almost want to you almost see the simulation as it is in front of you. And you're like ready for the next thing. You're ready for the next jump. And not like a suicide.
I've heard that. I've heard that guys that do LSD and all that, they have told me they are.
Yeah, see, like, and same, like I've talked to people that have done it. I mean, there's people that have done it naturally and, you know, have out-of-body experiences, NDEs and stuff like that. And, you know, I've heard like little trolls and weird stuff also. But yeah, just like, you know, just your thoughts on just on all that as far as like, you know, the Indian text. And I mean, there's definitely so much truth to it. It's been, I feel like personally, I feel like it's the whole point of this, you know, the simulation is to reach that level. And there's just so many things in life that's kind of, you know, preventing it. And, you know, it's just not something that's, if everybody was walking around spiritually enlightened, we would, you know, there'd be
nobody would want to be here. God,
yeah, exactly.
We'd all be ready to go somewhere else.
Nobody want to go to work.
Listen, this is a very good point. Listen to me.
I'm going to ask.
Follow my reasoning here. If we're actually immortal beings and we were already made perfect, you know, in the construct we're told we're born in sin. I don't believe that bullshit. No. Now, but if we're immortal beings attached to source, and we can't really imagine how awesome it is outside this construct, but there's going to come a point when we're going to be curious. That doesn't mean everybody's going to be a participant. Some of them are going to be like the brother of the prodigal son. The whole prodigal son parable may have a deeper meaning and not even have anything to do with what's going on in the construct. It may have everything to do with the fact that the two brothers on the outside of the construct and the real prodigal sons are the ones that came in, that made the decision to come in and go through all this and experience. And when we leave, this is when the Christian mysteries, this is what the Christian mysteries say in Revelation, you know, to he who overcometh, I will give him a white stone with a new name. To he who overcometh, I will give him white raiment. I will give him a new robe. It's a code for a new avatar. And with a new name, when your identity is your name and you're taking a new name, that means there's been a fundamental change to who you are from the time you entered to the time you exit, or you wouldn't be getting a new name. There's no use for a new name. The whole concept of a milk name in ancient times was that you and I would have been young. I might have been 7 years old and you're 8 years old. And then something happens in the village and all the men are out doing whatever they're doing. And there's nothing but a bunch of females here. And they're all cooking and cleaning and sewing and cleaning fish and all that. And you and I are the only two boys here. All the men are gone. But the village gets attacked and you and I defend the village, and the women come out with their bows and arrows and you and I are out there with our spears and swords, and we successfully fend off an attack when the men are gone. Well, you and I would have milk names. Milk names are the little nicknames that the community has given us until we have earned a name in the community. Because in ancient times, not even in ancient time, even 300 and 400 years ago, the milk name was given to the males and females, and then you would do something that would stand out, and then the women would get together and say, oh, she needs to be named such and such. She needs to be a Catherine or a Rebecca for whatever reason, because something she did. You would have been named Eric because you did something that was warrior-like. You know what I mean? I might have been named Jason because I did something that a healer would do. And you might have got real hurt being an Eric, a warrior, and I saw that instead of running, that I could actually help you, and I mended you whatever was going on, and your milk name would be forgotten. It would be illegal to even call you that anymore, because in the community, once you received a name, that's who you are. You were your name.
You filled the shoes.
Yeah, Cooper was making shoes. A baker was baking. An Eric was a warrior, a fighter. A Jason was a healer. So this is the same concept in the Christian mysteries. To he who overcometh will I give him a new name. That's not a light statement. That means while you were here, there's been a fundamental change from the time you entered here. So when you make your exit, you're given a new avatar, which is going to be new abilities, and you're given a new name, which is a new identity. And that new identity comes with privileges and immunities. So when you're returned back outside of this construct, the whole prodigal son parable is fulfilled. You return back. But what about all the ones that never indulged? They never experienced, they never learned, they don't know what it is. All they can do is listen to us relate all the incredible things we went through here. And to them, it might be horrific. It might be like, oh man, I'm not going to go in there and starve and be hungry. I'm not going to go in there and shiver in a rainstorm and sleep under a bridge. I'm not going to prison. No, I'm not doing none of that stuff. But to those of us who volunteered for the experience, we're also receiving a whole lot more, just like the prodigal son. When the prodigal son, he got a ring, he got a robe, he got a banquet, a feast was thrown in his honor, the fatted calf was sacrificed, and none of that was done for the other brother who never left. So a really good point you make there.
I mean, it is definitely interesting. The prodigal son. I mean, that's one of the basis of like so many things as far as the experience, and like you say the willing participants in this in the simulation, and I mean so much of your research coincides with a lot of the Christian mysteries, the Yoga Sutras. It's the overlaying is just crazy. I mean, it's I feel like it's that part of the knowledge is very suppressed in like the modern, the convoluted kind of religious mode that we've been on, because it's such a big part of it. I mean, even the halo in Christianity is the head chakra, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's there, but it's not there. And I think that's one of the reasons why also too it's suppressed, because it's like, if that information got out and if people were willingly practicing, I mean, look at everything that's, the distractions is one as far as the mind goes, but even, all the stuff in the food and everything else, I mean, you drive yourself crazy kind of trying to prevent it, but yeah, that's all I got, man. That's it. So
hey, that was enough. There's gonna be a lot
of
of people watching this video, man. It's pretty good input, no doubt.
Yeah, very cool, man. I'll try to catch you. You're gonna be in Virginia. What's the next Archaix meetent towards me?
Man, I haven't decided yet, man. I'm trying to catch up on Archaic Underground before I make a decision about Glen Rose, Texas.
Gotcha.
I just, I just don't know yet. I might do a Houston meetup because it's right here, and I just don't know right now.
Yeah, I got I'm in the court system right now, so I got kind of a travel ban, unfortunately. Yeah. But
yeah, I get it.
I'll see you when I see you, man. Good talking to you.
All right, man. You too, Ryan. That's good. That's I like that dude's energy, man. We got some guys with some pretty good energy tonight. Not bad. Sanity Machine. I already knew what he was about. I've seen him pop up. He hashtags Archaix for all kinds of shit. I watched one or two of his videos. I wasn't impressed. He'll probably be on Tartarian Truth here tomorrow or something. I don't care. Don't even care. I knew who he was when he popped up. Yeah, man. Shadow Man, the Bible has a lot of very good, very compelling material. But just like anything else, it's a construct of men. And some of those men were led by something very spiritual. Others were not. And so you got to chew it all up and spit out the bones. The Bible is exactly what it says itself to be. In the very beginning, there were two trees in Eden. There was a tree of knowledge and there was a tree of good and evil. A book is nothing but a glorified tree. That's all it is. A book is a container of knowledge. So from the very beginning, before you ever entered this construct, this place was already a place of good and evil. And the Word of God, the Logos, the biblical material is a book of good and evil. And it's up to you to find whichever it is you're looking for. I can show you some great, profound spiritual material in the Bible. I can also show you that where the Bible explains that Yahweh is a demon. Absolutely. There are two narratives flowing all through the stories and books of the Bible. Those two narratives and how you interpret them basically identify where you are spiritually. Bible is a supernatural book. It's a supernatural book. but it's still the works of men. That's it for me tonight, guys. We went 3 hours and 10 minutes. I hope you guys like this new format. The dark side. We'll be doing a bunch of these videos if you want to join me in the evenings. Sometimes we'll have themes. Sometimes we'll just do a bunch of just random chat. Sometimes we'll call a bunch of people in here. We'll probably do that every time. I'm gonna have guests on here every dark side chat. Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh, we got one more Jimmy video to listen to. We got a Jimmy video to listen to, a Jimmy song. But I'm going to go ahead and hit our errant ad outro. If you guys want errant ads posted on the videos, you got to hit me up, Archaix 138. Got to do it.
To be creators, and many of us have important messages for the world. I'm Lillian Grace, author, editor, ghostwriter, and writing coach. And these are some of my books. My personal genre is teaching through story, and my first book won an international award for youth fiction. I'm currently writing a musical about health. I'd love to help you write your book. I'm offering a 20-minute complimentary edit so that you can see if you resonate with my feedback. Links in the description box. Thank you.
All right, guys. I will holler at you later. For those of you in the Cypher group, we're going live tomorrow. Moderators, appreciate it. It's already 12:14. Man, staying up past my bedtime. How'd that happen? Anyway, love you guys.
Talking about Atlantis all day long. Errants roll their eyes and sigh. He sells a story, but they don't buy. Oh, Jimmy, see, what could it be? Atlantis ain't no mystery. Shilling on Rogan with a grin so wide, but the truth ain't on your side. With Archaix, why so scared, Jimmy? Immature acts poking at the ancient past. A message lost in the sands of time while you preach Atlantis rhymes. Maps and myths in his cluttered mind. Truth and fiction hard to find. He paints a world that ain't quite real. Errants laugh at his spinning wheel. Oh, he's got the charm, he's got the flair, but the facts, boy, they just ain't there. Spreading tales to the podcast crowd, living loud but a vapid cloud. Living loud but a vapid cloud. once again, chasing shadows with his pen. The errants watch and shake their heads. They'd rather dream